All right, we are live.
Alrighty, well,
Like, subscribe.
last week's, whoa. I just saw Scribbles roll there to do Deep's Mother, where he rolled a 3,413. That's a nice job on
Impressive.
the custom rolls.
Well.
Yeah, I think he rolled a 3, actually, and
She's-
he's just got a massive bonus.
She's a dirty whore.
Amazing. Last week's thrilling story found the party leaving Phandalin after escorting Linene to the crypts to see where her friend died. On your way out of town, you grabbed a large wagon packed with supplies that Elmar Barthen provided. And Kurt, as your wagon master, he did an admirable job. And through a day's travel, you ended up finding yourselves at the Rockseeker camp. Approaching the camp, you found their cook, a dark-scaled dragonborn, fending off several orcs that had jumped him. The party jumped in and helped, and together there was much orc killing, ogre smashing, and a bit of cliff yeeting on Noro's part. Was the fight wound down, the dragonborn revealed himself to be Rogar, the camp cook, and apparently a somewhat skilled fighter. Eventually, the Rockseeker brothers made their way back to camp from their day's mining, along with a few others. And some folk that they'd hired to help defend the camp came back from a successful hunting trip. Deebs met with Tharden Rockseeker, the older of the two brothers, and gave him the bad news that Gundren had expired. Also presenting him with a writ from Dralamar, offering protection and financial assistance in exchange for a portion of the profits of the mine. We saw the session wind down at the end with the party settling in for a week of living at the camp, scouting the area, and making sure that the Rockseeker brothers were well equipped to handle anything that might come at them. And so we begin this week's session. After that week, 5 days have passed. In your time here at the camp, you've greatly enjoyed Rogar's fine meals. The camp now restocked and well provisioned. He's Rogar. You're able to show off the variety of culinary skills that you've collected over the years, and impress everyone. Keep them well fed, and well fed people are happy people. The brothers have set aside their grief for the moment and buried themselves in their work. Nundro working furiously on a couple of different gadgets that incorporate various gnomish technologies and some odd arcane gems. Tharden leading the mining crew deeper and deeper in their search for the lost mine of Phandelver. The others pitching in around camp, taking watches. And the rest of you have had an opportunity to scout the area, patrolling for any more sign of orcs. The party that attacked the camp last week, potentially sign of things to come, but after scouting about, you find the area relatively safe, except for local wildlife. As the week winds down, I'd like to ask if anybody has anything they would like to do in that time, that week of downtime.
And at the campsite, right?
At or around the campsite, contributing to mining, any conversations you'd like to have with Tharden, Nundro, or the mining team, Garrett and Bandor, two dwarven brothers, or the three who've been hired to help guard as well as help around camp, Yanis, Timmers, and Faust. Yanis was the quiet northerner with the thick red beard. Timmer's the tall young human fighter, and Faust the red-skinned tiefling rogue of sorts.
Yeah, Lunalia would have offered her services in 1 hour blocks. Not those services.
Wow.
As a large badger to help remove any rubble, scree, dirt. She can't dig through stone in that form, so.
All right. That will help their progress. I just posted short bios and pictures of the three who help around the camp. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to do? And it could be anything from conversation to, crafting, skill checks, that sort of thing. Noro, they have there's an anvil there, and you could potentially do a little bit of smithing, nothing too crazy, just a bit of repair. There really isn't much in the way of a furnace.
Yes,
but a hot fire would bring a little bit of heat to some steel for a little bit of repair work or something along those lines.
I imagine could fit in the. You said I can do some mining as well.
You could definitely help out with their excavation, sure.
Okay, I would like to do that. Join them on that.
All right.
I'll assist with the mining as well.
Alrighty. Nora, why don't you make a strength check? You could make an athletics check, actually, with advantage from Deep's helping.
Okay.
And Linelia, why don't you do the same as your giant badger form?
Oh, okay. With advantage, did you say?
Not with advantage for you.
Okay, and it's strength.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Between the three of you helping out, the brothers' mining efforts are greatly increased. Their crew is quite small, and you find over the course of the week that Nundro doesn't do much of the digging. He seems to always be fiddling with his strange gadgets. One of the larger ones, he rolls in on a small cart that he's built, and it has strange spinning gears and a large hollow globe of finely wrought silver that has a spark of green in the middle of it that pulses and flashes as he turns the apparatus one way and another. He mumbles on and on about detecting arcane ley lines and speaks of some nexus that he's mentioned a few times over the course of the week. Overall, he seems to be happy with their progress and thinks they're heading in the right direction. Is there anything else anyone would like to do before I move on?
I want to make it a point that Noro, because he has some trust issues generally in the beginning with people, he's just kind of eyeing Rogar.
All right. Over the course of the week, Rogar, is there anything you want to do to get to know these folks better?
I guess asking what meals they would like to be made for them, I guess, would be a good start for Rogar. If they have any preferences for meat, no meat.
Fish. Lunalia likes fish.
Ale.
What temperature, Deebs?
Well, Deebs, you for sure drink your fill of ale. There, the wagon had a large keg of it, and there are a couple of kegs, one nearly empty that you help them finish off, and a second one that you help put a good dent into in your week there. Rogar, make a survival check. With advantage. You've known this area for some time. Fantastic.
Oh, nice.
You're definitely aware of a small river in the area that flows into a larger lake that has a fair stock of wild fish in it. And Lunalia, one day, Rogar comes back with a fair catch of fish, prepares them, seasoned nicely and cooked as one would cook fish. I don't know how to cook fish. And a fine meal is to be had. If there's nothing else anybody would like to do, I will go ahead and round out the week. One night around the fire, as you're all enjoying another fine meal prepared by your new scaled friend, Tharden lets out a long sigh. Too many folk kicking around camp. So when are you all off? I mean, I've enjoyed the company, I suppose. But, we're fine. Fuck off then.
Jeez.
Respectfully.
If you're not in need of us any longer, we have things we can do.
Well, you folks said you had, you were needed north and east of here. I'd say we're a few weeks out from, what we hope to discover. A week less, maybe, thanks to, your fine efforts, but, you're gonna eat us out of, all of our stock if you stick around. Frankly, no one's found anything scouting about. There's no more orcs. Hopefully that was just not a taste of what's to come, and just a few lads who are out looking to cause some trouble. We'll be fine.
I think they don't want to share their ale any longer.
We should probably head out. We promised Lenine.
Kurt speaks up and says, unless you need somebody to follow you with an empty wagon, I was thinking of staying here.
Yes,
You guys
stay
be okay
here.
with that?
Stay.
I think that's a good idea, Kurt.
Aye. Why don't you take the lad with you? Rogar. What do you think?
Rogar appears to be
full of food.
Yeah, he appears to be eating pizza. That's a good idea to have him tag along.
Right then. Well, that's settled. He's got a strong sword arm. Taught him myself. He'll do you well, especially if you're on foul of orcs. Right then. Well, one last round then. Get a good night's sleep. Don't worry too much about us. We'll be fine. Appreciate all you've done. Certainly wasn't expecting, wasn't expecting to find friends out here that would chip in and help out after we've suffered such a loss. To Gundren, and he raises his mug.
To Gundren. I'll raise mine.
The evening goes on. Without incident, you all settle down for the night. Meanwhile, Solmia, your last few days have been enlightening, insightful, and certainly nothing you would have expected. In a good way.
Mm.
Here you are now, back on the surface and out in the woods. A curl of smoke in the distance from a cliffside camp. The flicker of flame casts shadows on the cliff walls around it. The distant sound of voices. You think it's what you were looking for. You think it is your group of friends.
Daddy Deebs.
God damn it.
As you make your way through the trees, and up the stepped cliffs. Actually, here I will put you guys on the battle map. Not that there's a battle, but just so someone can see the.
Oh, you never got those damn oxen straightened out.
No, it's Kurt's shitty parking job. Here, I'll put him down here. How about that?
We never should have paid him 2 gold a day.
Well, technically, he parked them when the day was done, and nobody's paid him since. Although I'm sure he'll settle that with Tharden and Nundro. So as you close in and the trees thin, you see stumps where trees around the camp have been felled to create fuel for the fire. How are you approaching? Are you sneaking in?
Do I see them?
It's up sort of 30 feet or so. You'd be maybe somewhere down in the trees down here. You're pretty sure it's the right way. There is a bit of a path that winds its way up.
So can I hear that it's clearly?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Okay. Got my fat +6 now.
You definitely hear the sound of dwarves. More than one. And you are pretty sure you hear Deebs.
So I'm going to touch my bracelet and assume the appearance of Gariel. Chuckling to myself. And then I'm just going to walk up like she would.
All right. You reach the edge of the tree line and begin to make your way for the path. You hear a voice from off to your left. Where are you going this time of night?
Well, hello there.
Have a chat with me. You see a tiefling leaned up against a tree that you missed. He's just arms folded in front of him, wearing a long black leather coat.
Like Neo in the Matrix?
Kinda, yeah.
Sweet.
No sunglasses, though.
No sunglasses. His eyes, if I remember correctly from the picture, are black. Yep, they are jet black.
Yeah, so I'll just say, well, hello there.
Hello to yourself. What are your intentions? Wandering into our camp at night.
I hear friends of mine that I haven't seen for a week or two. I'm like to go play a little prank on the dwarf in particular.
Right. I'm watching you. Go on then.
Then I'm gonna point my ass at him and said, "Go on, keep on watching." And then
he just nods and grins.
So yeah, I'll just keep walking up to the camp.
Those of you around the fire, as the night's winding down, your cups empty and plates stacked. conversations are winding down, and a couple of the dwarven miners have already headed off to their tent. You hear footsteps, and thinking it might be Faust, the tiefling who was out on watch, you turn and see Gariel walking towards the fire. The light from the fire flickering across her face, lighting it.
Gariel! What are you doing here?
In my best way to like mock the way she talks, I'm gonna go, oh, you know, I saw there were coins in the lake nearby.
Make a performance check.
Okay. Let's see. Rip.
Oh, that voice, Steebs. There's something. The initial surprise fades away as a familiar, but not the one you expected voice comes from that mouth.
I'll start laughing, and then I'll be like, hey, Daddy Deebs.
What the blazes? Is that you, Samia?
And then I'll drop the disguise, and I'll be like, it's me.
You almost got a warhammer in the face. It's good to see you. Where have you been?
I'm gonna run over and give Daddy Deebs a hug.
Oh, Jesus.
Drunken Tharden stands up, takes about 3
Uh-oh.
steps back, and falls over another stool. Nundro just looks up and starts stammering. Drow! Drow! The other two, their camp guards, Yanis and Timmers, jump up and draw weapons.
Easy now, easy. She's a friend. She's a friend. Everyone stay calm.
They all slowly put their weapons away. And Tharden drunkenly, didn't think you'd be the sort to associate with dark skins.
There are some exceptions once in a while, but not often.
I suppose if you say she's okay, then she's okay.
Aye, she's okay. She's traveled with us for a bit.
Well, welcome to the Rockseeker camp, and if you kill anyone, I'll kill you.
Ooh.
I'm off. And he turns around and falls flat on his face and is out cold, starts snoring, face down in his own beard.
My. So I'll put, after hugging Deebs, I'll put my hand on Lunalia's shoulders and I'll say, it's good to see you.
It's nice to have you back.
Then I'll wave at Scribble and Noro and say, hello.
Where have you been?
And then I'll just, so I'll say, I have so much to tell you guys.
Now's a great time. Sitting
Nora's
around the fire.
Nora's upset. She's been gone too long.
Do you not remember me, Noro? And then I touch my bracelet and turn into Lenine.
Oh, what the? Nora's freaking out.
Then I'll just go back to the normal form. I'll be like, okay.
The young, tall, short-haired human, Timmers, punches the large, red-bearded Northman in the arm. Come on, Yanis. Let's let these folk talk. Let's go find Faust. Bring him some ale. The two of them promptly exit. And you are with Nundro dragging his passed out drunken brother into his large tent. The party is left whole and alone once again, save for a silver-scaled dragonborn who I imagine stacks plates and cleans up his cooking area.
Yeah, you would probably be in the middle of cleaning up.
So after we got back to town in Phandalin, I wanted to go talk to the Nothic. And as I was walking through the forest to get to the manor, I started having one of my dreams that aren't quite dreams, but like Lolth is starting to really like get into my head. And I just was like just waiting for it to happen, and then before she could start whispering to me, like the world just became normal again, which that's never happened before. And before me was this drow that had this really odd kind of air about him, and he started asking me like who I was and what I was doing, and so I just kind of told him that I had been traveling with some friends, and then I was going up to speak to someone up at the manor. And before I could tell him what was going on, why I looked kind of dazed, he said, "Lolth is talking to you, isn't she?" And kind of from there, I just decided to listen to everything he had to say. And that's where I've been for the last however many days it's been.
What have you found?
Oh, all sorts of wondrous stuff. I went to the Underdark for the first time. That's pretty amazing. Saw these like walking mushroom things and learned that there's druids that experiment with fungus, and met a whole bunch of other drow.
Nora kind of looks at you and you're like, "You seen the mushrooms? I remember them too."
They're very friendly.
Yes. I kind of start talking about the gray dwarves and how sometimes they fight for territory down there.
I didn't see any of them down there.
Good.
Oh, they must have been further down.
Yeah, so I actually don't even know how to get back down there. The person I was with, I think he calls it teleporting. He would teleport me down there, and anytime I wanted to go back up to the surface, he would teleport me back. And he said until I either joined him or not, that I wouldn't learn their location, and I was fine with that.
Is this individual also a druid?
No, I'm honestly not sure what he is.
Did he have a name?
His name is Nesnar. And he actually really wants to meet you guys.
Nesnar.
Do we know that name, Poker?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same thing.
I don't know. I'm not sure if you've ever heard that name.
I'm going to say no if that's what the DM says.
Yeah, I don't think you would have heard that name.
He's super nice. He's busy, but every chance he gets, he is talking to me about the Drow Society, and he's adamantly against Lolth. and she's been plaguing my mind for years now. And he just seems to want to help me.
Did Tal ever find you? He went off looking for you.
No, he
did
didn't. Oh, I was sure hoping to see him too.
Where did you learn to shapeshift into people?
Still freaking out about that. Nora was like, "What the?"
Do you have Noro soap?
Oh, asking the questions that really matter.
Yep. Nora's ears perk up. Like, do you?
He's
I
been
don't-
quite.
I don't, but I know someone that could probably make you some.
Lunch back over again.
So then, to Scribble's question, I'll excitedly hold up the arm that has the bracelet, and I'll make sure that it's like in the firelight so everyone can see it. And Poker, I don't know if you want to describe it.
Yeah, so as she holds her arm up and pulls her sleeve back, you see a large, almost the size of a bracer, but not solid. Around her arm, you see a silver spider. Its legs encircling her arm in a very intricate pattern. The only reason you can tell it's silver is the metal shows just around the edges. Otherwise, it's been blackened as if by a extremely hot flame. It's charred and dark, and where the black fades to silver, the metal is fatigued and twisted into rainbow colors as the black blends back into the natural polished silver. It is a little bit horrific, but beautiful at the same time.
You didn't by chance
That's awesome.
get that from a tiefling man in a ludicrously decorated cart, did you?
No, I did not. I got it from Nesnar. As I've come to find out, the people of the world aren't very friendly to drow, so this is what he gives to the people that work for him and around him, so that we can move around on the surface without drawing too much suspicion.
Nora wants to do a perception check on Solmia just because he believes that it's Doppelganger.
Oh, investigation. Maybe you could use insight or investigation. Investigation would be a physical check. You probably,
Okay.
I imagine you'd maybe stand up and have a walk around her, or find some way to maybe awkwardly get closer to her to have a closer look.
Yes.
Are you voicing this out loud, Noro, or are you just thinking in your head?
No, I'm thinking in my head.
Okay.
Ooh.
Natural 20.
Wow. I really hate to waste a natural 20, but Noro, as far as you can tell, you are absolutely certain that this is her. What you know from your experience with fake Gundren is the doppelganger was incredibly good at looking and feeling and sounding exactly like the real thing, though. So it's really, there's not much there, but I'll let that, because it's a nat 20, I'll let that bleed over into insight as well. It acts like her. As far as you can tell, this is her. There is something different. And what's different is she doesn't, there's a darkness that's lifted from her. Just a little bit, but it's as if a weight was lifted from her shoulders.
Would she notice that I'm doing this?
I mean, what are you like, pacing around her and inspecting her closely? I'll
Yes.
let you describe how you're doing it, and that'll dictate whether she notices or not.
Okay, so like I guess as she's describing whatever her story, right? And as I'm listening as well, but I'm kind of like behind her, like going just back and forth, pacing back and forth behind her and just kind of listening. But what I'm really looking at is the stature, the likeness of who
Yeah.
I remember to be my party member, but I'm still fishy, right?
Sylmia, you're painfully aware of Noro's breath on the back of your neck as he paces back and forth behind you, not quietly.
Noro, what's going on there, buddy?
Startled, I go to her and I just say, "It's just good to see you," and I just go and I give a hug.
So then, I'm clearly picking up what he's trying to do. So I'll say, "Let me reassure you." So then I'll turn into the town master, where he's got like the like big old gut.
Yeah.
And I'll speak in my normal voice, and I'll say, "Noro, try to touch my gut."
Laurel reaches.
Your hand goes right into the illusion.
Oh, and I of course I get scared. He gets scared.
And then I'll say, "Silly Noro," and I'll I'll drop
All
it.
right. All right. I'll just look at him and look at her, and I'll just say like I've been spooked. So I'm just glad you're back, and I just go back to my place and sit down. By scribble.
He hasn't been the same since he lost his soap.
I will make sure to get you an Underdark special bar.
Oh, Underdark bar.
It'll smell like mushrooms and dirt.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That earthly scent. So then I'll just say, yeah, he's not too far off whenever you guys want to, or I should say if you guys want to go meet him. He's very nice.
What, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think that Solmia's definition of nice and Deeb's definition of nice are two very different things.
Mm.
But I'm willing to come and meet him.
Which direction?
Poker.
We were planning on heading north and east, I think, or west, east. No, north.
Walking distance from here, it'd be about an hour on foot, and just a little to the west. Along the base of the mountains, there is a shallow cave where you were asked to take them to the meeting.
He is drow though, Deebs, and I know you have a problem with us darkskins, but he is one of the good ones.
I'll trust your judgment.
I'm sure we could stop by on the way out tomorrow morning.
That'll be just fine.
Aye, that'll work.
And then I want to show my bracelet to Lunalia. Like, look at how cool it is.
It is very nice.
It appears to be made by a very expert silversmith, but at the same time, it's horribly damaged, at least on the surface, by what looks like just an impossibly hot flame.
She wants to show her masker eggs. I have something that does similar, but to be perfectly honest, and she'll just look sort of side eyes at the other, and she'll lean in to sort of whisper to Solmia, I intend to try and hatch one of these.
Ooh.
And she opens up a small wooden box, and within it, carefully padded in a velvety material, are two what look like very normal chicken eggs.
I'm going to whisper excited, what do they turn into?
Well, you're supposed to crack them over your head, and as the gooey ooze leaks out, it will change your appearance for a time.
Mmm.
the seller of these wouldn't tell me or didn't know what kind of bird they came from. So I think I will hatch one and find out for myself.
So I'll just like hold my hand over him and whisper a druid prayer, like to not like bless them, but like kind of wish them well.
Full disclosure, D&D is about dice. I'm gonna make up some stupidly hard rolls, and if the dice will it, these eggs are gonna turn into something because
Nice.
because dice are cool and magic exists. Maybe.
It's gonna be a dodo bird.
Yeah, she keeps them. She keeps them close to her all the time,
Very cool.
so that they stay, relatively warm. She puts them under her pillow at night when she's sleeping.
Rotten eggs.
Oh,
They don't
Samia,
smell.
Samia, we should probably introduce you to Rogar here. He's going to be traveling with us. Rogar, this is Salmia.
Rogar will just bow his head.
Well, hello there.
Hello.
He's quite the fighter.
When they originally met him, his scales were dark and sooty, but after having a wash in the lake and removing most of the past few days of fire soot earned from time spent over the kettle, they found him to be a fair-scaled, a silver-scaled dragonborn. He's quite large.
I will curtsy and say, "Nice to meet you."
Rogar, tail or no tail? I don't
Tail.
remember. It's tail, yeah. And is one of the type of dragonborn who have a tail. Although he seems to do a pretty good job of not tripping people with it as he walks about the camp.
Hopefully, Daddy Deebs has been nice to you, Rogar. I know he's a little close-minded at times.
Oh, don't worry. He's been plenty nice to me. And just give a side eye to Rogar, or not Rogar. Give a side eye to myself. Give a side eye to Noro, but not say anything.
I'll clap. Very good, Daddy Deebs.
Well. Oh, go ahead, Noro.
No, that was it.
The night gets darker and more still as you all catch up on what you've missed from each other's lives over the past couple of weeks. And at some point, a yawn makes its way around the entire group, with the exception of the one who doesn't sleep, because elves are weird that way.
You can feel free to use my tent, Solmia.
Why, thank you. I'm actually sleeping these days.
It's good to know.
Or nights, rather.
Oh.
This guy.
I sleep in a cave. I'll head into the cave.
All right. Oh,
Take my rest.
no moonlit walk. You're not going to refresh your spell
I haven't done that in a while.
No. Well, I mean, one would say that. I imagine every night there is an outdoor prayer of some sort to restore your spell slots, as clerics of the Silver Lady pray at night for their
True.
spells.
Yeah, I'll do my my walk.
All right. Anyone else anything, or are we skipping to the morning?
I think we're good.
Deebs.
I was gonna say, Nora wants to practice scaling the walls.
The
Just in
cliff
case.
side, or
Team exercise.
like you're
Yeah,
just
it's
gonna go
probably a
like
good
everybody
idea.
else is going to bed, and Nora's just gonna start climbing up the cliff wall. Is that what we're doing here?
It's a Nora thing to do, yeah.
Make an athletics check. I like it. I'm into it.
Boy, here we go.
Rogar will keep an eye on him.
Well, you don't have to look far because he doesn't make it far. Go ahead and make one more.
Oh my God, this is bad. I'm rusty.
Better on the second try. He makes it up about 30 feet in very little time after not finding appropriate handholds on the first attempt. The second one's much better, and Rogar he does a fairly impressive job of scaling one of the steeper parts of the cliff's edge around you. Deebs, as you walk a little distance away, on this night, the twinkle of stars can be seen, elusive between the fairly consistent cloud cover, but there is a break here and there. And as the stars twinkle through, the very slight crescent of the moon shines just a weak silver, reflecting off the water before you. You hear a shuffle of footsteps and glance over your shoulder to see the tiefling and the other two move along on a bit of a patrol. The tiefling just bows his head in your direction and whispers to the other two, and they pick up their pace and move along, leaving you in silence. As you raise your chin toward the stars, basking in what tiny bit of moonlight falls upon you, you open your mind and your senses, and you hear all of the sounds of the land about you, the gentle splash of the water picked up by what little breeze there is, the sound of an owl off in the distance. And eventually the sounds die down. Your eyes shut. Your mind wanders for a while. And as you sit there on the bank of the small pond, you're taken somewhere else. At first you think the Dragonborn is cooking again. You smell meat. And then you feel the warmth of flames, as if you were sitting close to the campfire again. The crackle of fire too close. Now all around you, and that heat builds. The smell of cooking meat turns into an overwhelming smell of burning flesh.
Oh, shit.
Screams. You begin to hear screams in the distance. The cries of children. The screams of grown men running through the streets. Your eyes snap open and you see Dralamar on fire. A green, horrible, baleful fire. People burning, buildings burning. Fire rolling through the streets, almost like water, flooding into the streets and burning everything in its path. And as you see that vision overwhelming you, you snap back to reality. Just the soft splash of water in front of you. And the crescent moon has waned and is gone.
What? What the? I'm gonna head back to the camp.
You find that your spells were renewed, and your prayer is successful, but as you try and fall asleep, you can't help but be haunted by that horrifying vision. You still smell flesh burning, just a little bit. Everybody else, I'm assuming, has a lovely night's sleep. Scribble especially. Scribble, as you bed down for the night, there is a sense somewhat like what you felt at the Dwarven gravesite. That cold but comforting feeling surrounds you, a bit like a cloak. And it feels right, and it feels a little bit like home. Like a home that you've never really known. You feel comfortable, and you find yourself having a good night's sleep.
Nice.
Morning comes. The sounds of the folk around you waking up. The sound of Rogar up early as he often is. The sounds of Kurt grumbling, talking to Rogar, picking up on a few of the things that he would do in the mornings here at camp, as he prepares to take over his role here as camp master. And you all find yourselves waking in varying states of rest. What would you like to do as you prepare to leave this morning?
I like to gather everyone and tell them about my dream or my vision. I'll just I had a saloon gave me a vision of Dralamar on fire. I could smell flesh burning and see men running. I'm not sure what it means.
That's
Well,
that's
see-
horrible.
yeah, can you see where? Did it look familiar?
Did it look like? I mean, was it just a general area of Dralamar, or like a specific?
Your view was from as if you just run out in front of the Temple of the Silver Path.
It
A
was.
familiar view down a main street, into the heart of town.
It was like the entire city was burning. A green flame.
Green. Flame.
Does a green flame signify anything? Like in D&D lore?
Well, it doesn't sound natural.
I'm not sure.
Either.
I'll just have a look and see.
I'm used to the standard fireball. And apparently skittled colored chaos bolts that you shoot.
Yeah, I mean there are a couple of spells like Green Flame Blade and others that draw forth a green fire, but Deebs, there was something different about it. It almost flowed like water as it ran through the streets in a very unnatural sort of way, almost as if it was both fire and liquid at the same time.
Boy.
It's like nothing you've ever seen before.
I think of Game of Thrones alchemy fire.
Yeah, kind of like that. It's I'm borrowing it from something else. None of you have ever played Werewolf, have you?
No.
I have.
Balefire. It's Balefire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Cool, very cool.
Well, I'm not sure what it means, but we may have to return to Dralamar at some point.
Well, according to the GIF that Dark just posted, it's trimethyl borate. So now we've solved what it is.
There it is.
How they clean labs all the time, no problem.
Dralamar is where you're from, Deebs?
That's where I was raised after the priest found me.
Did anything like that happen in Dralamar's past? Could it be a vision of the past?
History check.
Hmm.
Ooh.
That uses my intelligence.
You can make it with advantage, given that it's about your hometown.
Nice.
Would I also make the check, even though Deebs just did?
Yeah, you could too.
Nope.
I got an 8. My regular roll was better than my advantage roll.
Well, no, I mean the advantage would just be a second roll. So, Deebs, nothing in recent history. Certainly nothing you've ever read about. Nothing that bad. No calamity like that. Any city has its fires, and especially in the tightly packed, slums in the towards the western edge of the city. The eastern edge of the city. Certainly, there have been fires that decimated entire blocks. But no mention of any sort of green fire. No burning of the city like that. Not what you saw and heard. It was overwhelming.
When Deebs gives us this news, Lunalia gets very quiet.
Oh yeah, fire bad.
She would tell you that the last time she saw the elemental, it told her about fire destroying their home. They can't go home.
The elementals can't?
The water elementals can't.
Oh.
And it makes her a little concerned. So she would tell you that there have been portals that have opened up south where she's from on a couple of occasions where fire elementals came through. Now, I don't recall any weird colored fire, I don't think.
Oh, just the typical burning fire. Red, yellow, white, a little bit of blue.
But the elemental also, the last thing he said is, our home was next.
And you would have never told us the initial encounter up until now, right?
Not really. She would have told you that she's seen this elemental before.
Okay.
We got a lot of shit piling up. I'll tell you what. It's
Well, maybe my friend can help with that, or at least maybe give you some more information. He seems to know a lot.
Noro just kind of gets upset, and he's saying that you guys should have never went to the graveyard by the windmill.
I don't think the two are related, Noro.
It's my superstition.
Yeah, she knows.
just
She just eye rolls when you're not looking.
Oh man, I was like, we didn't leave Dralamar like that. We went to the graves by the windmill.
we should see if Salmia's friend knows anything, but it is concerning. I don't know if it's going to come true, or it's hard to say, but it was very disturbing.
Nora wants to ask Steve's like, is this the first time you've dreamt of this? Have you been holding back?
Aye, this is the first time I've had any kind of vision like this.
And then I'll say I'm really sorry, Deebs. Visions are not fun.
Mm.
You sure it wasn't the ale?
It could have been.
I'm gonna do a dice check.
There's Deeb's drunk praying again.
Nice, Noro.
Excellent.
A +5 even.
Yeah.
Got expertise by now.
Oh, okay. Well, so Deebs, you want to take care of the green fire? We'll go look for Lenine's stuff. And no, I'm just kidding. We're not separating.
Yeah. Let's
Got some
what's that?
choices to make.
Yeah, we got a lot of choices. But we should go to Salmia's thing and see what he has to say, and then we can go from there to our plan of Lenine.
Sounds good. Let's pack up.
All right. You all take some time to pack your belongings. And as you get ready to head out, the residents of the camp gather up to wish you farewell. Not really the miners; they've already started working, hauling their gear into the mine. But the brothers both stop for a couple minutes to wish you well. And Tharden says, "I didn't mean to kick you out, but well, we don't need you here." And you have other things to do. It doesn't mean you're not welcome. I'd like to see you back at some point. Stop by and share some ale with us. Preferably your own that you bring. Eh.
We'll be back. We'll be back.
I wish you all luck.
I want to do a perception check to see, like, did he actually like us being there?
It'd be a insight check, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you sure could.
Son of a...
He hates us. He wants us gone.
Yeah,
One.
Tharden Rockseeker to you is an incredibly complex person. There's just so many layers there that it's really hard to dissect what exactly he's ever talking about at any time. It's a mystery, Noro, and it's one that will haunt you for some time.
Stupid critical fail.
So I mean, as we're about to head up, she's going to look over at Solmia, and then she's going to look back at Kurt and blow a kiss, and then look at Solmia like, okay,
Isn't this what we do?
go ahead.
Oh, I will go over to Kurt and say thank you for taking the note for me.
Right, well, thanks for not, being like you people.
And then I'll give
That
him
came
a
out
little,
wrong. I don't know. Thanks for not being evil.
I'll give him a wink and a kiss, and then wink at Lunalia.
Oh, I thought we blew. Oh, okay. She's just going to
make her
kind of
head
scratch her
explode.
head and continue on.
As we're getting ready, I'd like to kind of pull Scribble to the side and ask his take on the brothers, like if they would be trustworthy in his opinion about, because I didn't mention anything about the map or anything like that. Not that we have it with us anyways, but just kind of get his take on it.
Well, I don't think that they're after the map because, as Poker had said, like this isn't the location of where it would be.
Yep.
I'm not sure if Poker, because I asked about it, and I know Poker told me. I can't remember if it was like right after the session last week or during the session.
Oh. Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, the I'll just move you guys back to the main map. So you guys are up in this little shallow valley here. the original map, is somewhere up in these hills above Axholm. The modified map would direct somebody to the west, not far from where you guys are at. Not an unbelievable distance away, but maybe 10 miles off course. Far enough that that someone would spend some time looking in the wrong place for some of the clues that the map indicates would lead them to whatever this treasure is. I promise one of these days I will actually build this map. It's just, it's a little daunting to be clever enough to try to be clever enough to create a treasure map that is cryptic enough that it's not just like, oh yeah, the big thing you're looking for is right here.
And then
But
make one of it.
Yeah, needless to say, there are some. It's Scribble. It's less the sort of puzzle on the map. The mysteries on the map that you have to sort through that you doctored, and more sort of the general starting point of where X marks the spot that you doctored. So somebody following the map would immediately go to the wrong place and then start looking for the other signs that are on the map that would lead them to the treasure. Anything else?
Is that good
Nope.
enough for you, Hammer?
Yep. That's good. Thank you.
Well, you gather together. Rogar, preparing to leave the camp for the first time here, other than a short fishing trip now and then. It's been your home for a while, I guess. For what did we figure, the last year or so?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's I imagine there'd be a sense of anticipation, but maybe a little bit of hesitation to forge forth into something new, as well as you've heard of what lies east, or at least what did a few years ago, and now that you've seen some orcs recently and up close, that looming threat is in the back of your mind of your old enemies and the destruction they caused to your home. Solmia begins to lead the party west, around the pond below the cliff steps where the camp lies, and into the forest. The trees grow dense, and Solmia, after nearly an hour, you find what you think is the spot. Beneath the trees, in a shaded spot, surrounded by dense vegetation, is a small cave entrance. And indeed, as you draw close, you see a cloaked figure. One of the drow who you've at least been around. You see a familiar face lean out of the cave, and a hand comes up and beckons you forth.
I'll say, hey, I brought my friends to talk to Nesnar.
Our master awaits inside. Come. Your friends are welcome. And he steps back into the shadows. The rest of you all see a drow, standing about 5 feet tall, wearing a long, dark cloak wrapped around him tightly. Only his face is visible in the shadows. Long silver hair, and just a thin, almost gaunt face. Red eyes, deeply set. And he just leans back against the wall to let you pass.
Yeah, so I'm like up in the front, like waving my hand in like an excited way, like come on.
And this guy is a full drow.
Full drow.
Keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him as I walk.
What is? Why don't you all tell me what your demeanor is like walking into this cave? Are you weapons drawn? Are you hands on hilts, ready to go? Are you calm and relaxed? How are you looking?
Linalia is calm and relaxed. She's curious. She's never seen a drow up close, other than the ones that we saw at the castle. And she didn't get to, have a close look.
I'm casting mage armor.
There's
I'm very guarded as I'm walking in. Like,
Noro's relaxed because seeing what Somia has done at the campfire, and so if she's bringing us in, full
Rogar
trust.
would have his shield on, but for the most part be relaxed, just looking around.
Scribble taps the butt of his staff on the ground, and there's a shimmer about him as a spectral suit of armor comprised entirely of just a faint blue glitter glows to life in the darkness in this cave and then quickly just shimmers away, falling invisible.
Me seeing that and then seeing Deebs, I'll tell Scribble, I'll be like, honestly, that's not going to do you any good if you were in trouble, and I'll put my hand on Deebs and I'll say, Daddy Deebs, I promise it'll be okay.
hey, we'll see.
As you enter this small cavern, the ceiling rises away above you about 20 feet. The floor of the cave becomes a little bit irregular, and there is a dampness in here. Just a tiny bit of fog mist swirls about your toes. Noro, it's a little troublesome because it's, dark. You get 20, 30 feet away from the entrance and the light outside fades away. I guess, Rogar, you would have the same trouble, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There is an arcane word that is uttered in the distance ahead of you. It echoes about the cavern, and 4 greenish balls of light float up into the space above your heads, casting a soft green glow about the room. Deebs, you find it incredibly unsettling after last night's vision. But it's just green light. It's all right. As the light illuminates the space, you see standing around you against the walls of this cavern several drow. 10 to be precise. Linalia?
Nothing.
And seeing these drow, you all realize you didn't see them even with your dark vision. They were standing in magical darkness. As you look around the room, none of them have weapons in their hands. Several of them standing fairly casually. A couple of them definitely bristling, ready for a fight. But they look like they've been told to stand down. And as you all scan around the room, your eyes lock on one taller than the rest, wearing a long black leather trench coat. Beneath it, polished mithril armor, plate armor, a long sword at his side in a intricately patterned sheath. His chin broad, his cheeks high and strong. There is an intelligence in his red eyes. There's almost a glow to them. As he steps forward, his white hair shimmers green beneath the light, long and flowing down the back of his coat. welcome. It is good to finally meet you all. My name is Nesnar. There are some who call me the Black Spider.
Oh, man.
He looks at Solmia and smiles.
What the?
So, Mia, you son of a bitch.
We'll see you next week.
Oh my!
It's not a trap.
It's not a trap.
Hey, Nesnar. Here are my friends.
Well, I suppose we should start with a difficult thing first. An apology. Viereth, step forward, please. And you see from the stone wall next to him, Viereth's familiar form shimmers through it as she steps out, standing next to Nesnar. There is a look on her face that really says, I don't want to be here. And she looks at him, her lips forming into a silent curse. Tell them you're sorry for what happened to the dwarf. Tell them. There is just a bit of an anger, spark of anger in his eyes. I apologize for the unfortunate death of your friend. It was not his intent. And she looks back at her brother.
Referring to Gundren, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, unless you have any other friends that died.
Noro's pissed. He's whipping out the sword.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. He was
Apologies will only go so far. Are we to assume that we can take this one back in payment?
There is a flash of Nesnar's left hand and a quick utterance of words. Nora, I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no.
It's your best stat, Noro.
Can I take it back? I'm just kidding.
Can't be lower than that one.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, good.
Sweet Jesus, let that be good enough.
Wow. That is actually good enough. That's crazy. Something grabs at your mind. Your senses begin to dull, and your arms begin to droop, and you anger through it. The rest of you see Noro's face go blank for a second, and then his brow furrows, and he shakes his head violently. You hear a sigh from Nesnar. That was unfortunate.
So we're gonna
Please.
play games.
Please calm yourself. We're not here for a fight.
All I can think about is that map. I don't say that out loud, but this is my.
What's the give me a count, Poker? What's a count of how many are here?
9 drow, plus the one back at the entrance, plus Nesnar, and Viereth.
Okay.
So I scanned the room.
None of them have made any sort of... You see the 2 that were a little twitchy, hands have gone to sword hilts, but they haven't drawn weapons yet. The rest of them are... let's look around. Passive insights. A couple of you might notice that the rest of them are on edge now, but they're trying to look cool. Play it cool, man. Play it cool.
Well, Noro scans the room, and he's just kind of like. I put my gaze eventually on Solmia, and I just say like, I needed Gundren. This better be good.
Samia, we'll speak of this later. Nesnar, why are we here? Why have you called us here?
I wanted to fix things. Verith, you may go. She kind of looks at him, starts to say something. Go! Be gone from my sight! His hand raises up as if to cast a spell, and she turns and backs through the illusion behind him back into whatever lay beyond this cavern. You hear footsteps as she runs off into the distance. The apology was the first. The second is this. Bring him. You hear footsteps again from behind him. Light, along with heavy shuffling steps. And shimmering through the wall behind him comes the form of Gundren Rockseeker.
What?
His hair, he's bald. His beard, a matted mess. He's wearing nothing more than a couple of blankets sort of tossed over him and wrapped around him, barefooted on the stone floor, in the sickly green light that shines about the room. As far as you can tell, it's him. There is a large scar down the side of his face, and you can see on the exposed flesh of his arms and his chest, that the blanket doesn't quite cover. There are freshly stitched scars all over him. He looks around the room, his eyes somewhat glazed over, not really seeing. Another figure, tall and thin, a drow, bare-chested, wearing a long, dark skirt of leather, male. Long white hair pulled back, and a thin face with a wide grin, leans forward and places a hand on his shoulder and says, Go on, go see your friends. It will be fine. You are among friends, go to them. He straightens back up and lets go of the dwarf, as Gundren takes a couple staggering steps forward. His eyes finally up to Noro. Around the group, they lock on Scribble. Then he sees Deebs. He smiles weakly and takes a few tentative steps forward. I hadn't hoped to see you again. Where am I?
We've seen this trick before.
Insight checking.
Or
An insight check him.
Nora wants to yell more. Whoa, nice.
Damn. Deebs, as he comes closer to you, one hand sort of tentatively outstretched to you, you look him over. He's in shock. He is definitely not the dwarf you met, so many weeks ago now. But you don't have any reason to think it's not him, other than the fact that you heard he was dead and haven't seen him in a long time.
Can Lunalia make a medicine check?
Yeah, so you go over to him and look him over?
Yeah, she wants to make sure that this is, that he's been stitched up properly, that this is him inside this meat suit.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and take your time. In fact, Nesnar says, I assure you it is him. Take your time.
How is this possible?
My apprentice here has some unique talents with the dead.
Uh-huh.
When I found your friend had died, I went myself to retrieve him, to correct the error made by my sister. I found a madman feeding him to an owl bear. I was able to retrieve enough that Malareth could work his ways with him.
I knew it.
This is the second half of my apology to you. I cannot undo what happened to him, but I can at least return him to you alive. It was never my intent for him to die, only for them to hold him so I could speak with him, make him an offer.
So, Poker, is he truly alive or is he like a zombie?
Well, he looks alive. He is warm. There is blood flowing within his veins. Lunalia, you can make another medicine check. You have time.
Okay.
There are the signs of. Boy.
Yep.
There are.
Dwarf.
That's with a +5 too.
I
There
know.
are the signs of like the scars on his body are. Some of them are very obviously from the owl bear chewing on what was left of him. Yeah, there you go. Some of the scars are very obviously from his corpse being partially eaten. The scars around his head and neck, the scars on his hands, signs of torture.
You said on his hands?
Yeah, like it looks like his fingers have been stitched back on.
Yep.
There are, there's scars on his palms where things may have been driven through his hands. He looks like he's been tortured and also torn apart by an owlbear. But as far as you can tell, even with Somia's medicine check, he appears to be a living, breathing dwarf. Who's in a bit of shock. And as you're all looking him over, he kind of stammers out, "I woke up on a table. That one back there. Chanting. Others chanting. Blood everywhere. Mine. His. He was carving his body and chanting. The runes were glowing.
Blood magic.
Where am I? How are you here?
Nora is so mad.
Where's Ulrich?
Oh, see, just before he said that, Nora was about to go over there and kick him over.
Ulrich is back in town. He's fine.
Kick who over?
Gundren, because Nora.
You never
Nora's
know.
He thinks it's a trick. Nora thinks that this is all some kind of trick. But when he said Ulrich, it's more believable that it's him.
The tall, gaunt drow Maloreth, who ushered Gundren forward, stands proudly next to Nesnar, and you hear Nesnar quietly say, "This really is your finest work, my apprentice. Well done. You may go." The gaunt drow bows deeply, and as he takes a step backwards through the illusory wall, he flashes a grin at all of you, and there is a wickedness in his eyes that is unmistakable as he disappears through the wall.
Yeah, not liking this, guys. I'm not liking this.
It's all right. It's fine. We all know Maloreth here at home, and he's a great guy.
So then, like, seeing all the tension, I'll just, like, stand in the middle and be like, guys, it'll be okay. Let's just listen to what Nesnar has to say.
I would say Rogar has been keeping an eye on the exit.
Yeah, and actually, Rogar, you would notice that the drow at the exit is not watching any of you at all. He's got his back to you, and he is watching outside. He's looking for anyone following you, or just any passerby that might take a peek in the cave, or a bear wanders by and comes into the cave or whatever. He's not really paying attention to you. The drow that are around the room are not all on all. They only circle around about half of the room on, flanking Nesnar, 5 on each side. They don't seem to be trying to block your escape, I guess is what I'm saying. If you guys made a run for the exit, you could make it there and out. They could give chase, but they're certainly not tactically doing a very good job of keeping you in here.
Does anyone want to go? If this makes you uncomfortable, I feel like some of you should hear what he has to say, though. He's been nothing but kind to me for the last couple of weeks.
Noro is super trustworthy of Solmia, but he'll stay super wary, though.
Deebs, if you'd feel more comfortable outside, you could take Gundren with you, and we could stay to hear what he has to say.
I assure you, this is your friend.
Yes, as I said, we've heard that at least once before.
I
Sorry,
understand
I'm gonna wait outside.
I understand you don't trust me. And I understand you don't trust what he is. Please take him with you. Anywhere. Watch him. Speak to him. Have another cleric look him over. It is him, I assure you.
So Lunalia's going to help Gundren out of the cave and get him situated with Deebs, and then she'll come back in.
Deebs, are you,
Deebs is AFK.
Oh, is he? I didn't see that.
No, I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll tend to Gundren. I don't like this at all, and I'm gonna do
Rogar
something
will-
stupid.
Rogar will go outside with him.
Nora's
Alright.
just looking for a reason to swing.
So when she
Drow-
comes back in, she's going to put her hand on, where would she reach? I guess on Noro's forearm, just reassuringly.
Deebs, you and Gundren outside, he's looking around. The light seems to be harsh on his eyes. He raises a hand to block it. And he looks at you and just says, I'm happy to see you, lad. I didn't think I'd see anyone ever again. And inside, Nesnar takes a couple steps forward, and he holds a hand up, and the drow along the walls sort of shuffle as far away from you as they can. The Black Spider is not a man. It is an organization. It is all of us. I have accepted the name that they call me by, but my name is Nesnar. I wish to assure you all that Solmia will be safe, should she choose to join us, even for a time. As a child born of two worlds and a stranger to both, she is untouched by their evils, and is thus a treasure to us. My intent is to teach her of our people, to teach her our ways, to show her the light and the darkness within the drow. And when we are finished, and I have shown her what I intend to do, I expect she will make an informed decision to either join us or to return to you. Either way, the choice is hers, and I will respect it. There is a druid among us who is strange but wise. I have placed Solmia in this druid's care to learn and grow. She will be well kept. She will be taken care of. I would not ever risk any harm coming to her. As I said, it was not my intent for the dwarf to die. Viereth is not like the rest of us. She is troubled by the ways of Drow society. She was with them far longer than I. There is much she has to learn, much change she has yet to make. It was her mistake to leave him alone with Viz. It was a mistake she will continue to pay for.
You'll forgive me for saying this, but I don't think one such as her makes mistakes.
And I will ask that you leave her penalty to me. Your friend is returned. It is the best I can do. I will not hand you my sister to punish. Not again. And he looks at Solmia. Now, I suppose I owe you all an explanation. As much trouble as you've been to me, removing Grohl and his kin from the castle, the townmaster and his outlaw gang, you led me here to these dwarves. By observing their work, I have found the mine. They are not far from it. They will find it in a matter of days to weeks. I have been inside it. I took a leap of faith of sorts. What I want is not within it anymore. And so the dwarves are of no consequence to me. They may have the mine. It is rich with ore, and I'm certain it will suit them. Although interested parties may be grossly disappointed.
What is it that you're looking for?
As you are likely aware, within this mine is, or I should say was, a place of immense natural power, an arcane nexus. Upon it was built a forge, and upon that was built many great artifacts. The forge no longer exists or has been moved. The nexus appears to have been tapped out or itself moved. I'm not certain. All I know is all that remains in that mine is darkness and death. Your dwarven friends would be good to bring allies, lest they not survive what they find. I barely did. And so my search continues. I believe the Spellforge still exists. I have reason to believe it is in these mountains. I will continue looking for it. The mine is yours. Do what you wish with it. I have no ill will towards Phandalin. The town and those within it are, or were, a tool, a means to an end. I've lived among your society long enough to know it is no place for me or my kind. Once I have found this forge, I will do what I need with it. I will craft the tools I need to liberate my people. I will raise an army, and I will go home, and you will never see me again. And so I ask you, stay out of my business. You have troubled me enough. I will allow it no further. Go about your way. But if you see drow, give them a wide berth. They will not be kind to you in the future.
Nesnar, but can you please tell the drow to also give my friends a wide berth as well?
I suppose I should.
That way, because Daddy Deebs he doesn't like drow, period, and so he's a little uppity, so I think that as long as there's a mutual understanding to stay out of each other's business, then
My
think
dear,
that's best.
I must apologize. My words are strong, but I mean only to continue our most important work unhindered. Yes, of course. So long as your friends do not attempt to stop us, we shall bear them no ill will. I will make sure of it.
Thank you, Nesnar.
Moro asks, you say raise an army and then you would disappear. We would never see you again. Where is this battle to take place?
Far beneath us. I am not from here. Surely you know this. The drow city of Nerazon is miles beneath the surface. I intend to march home. I intend to burn Loth's temples. I intend to bring down the matriarchy. And I intend to summon the Spider Queen out into the open and slay her myself. With this spellforge, I intend to build the tools to make this happen. A weapon that can kill a god. And much, much more. He looks at Solmia, and there is a righteous fury in his eyes. This one has heard her voice, has seen her, felt her presence. I have faced her in person when I was barely more than a child. Because I showed talent. Because I was one with skill. I was taken to the demon web pits to face her, to prove my loyalty to her, to make a sacrifice beyond what anyone should have to make. I passed her test. It was the last time I would ever show her loyalty. I have spent my considerable years working against her and everything those that follow her stand for. Too long has she held us under her sway. I am done, and soon she will be as well. When he says this, there are, well, those of you who don't speak Elvish would get a general feeling of quiet murmurings around the room. Somia and Lunalia, you definitely hear the other drow in the room very quietly echoing his righteous fervor. They are definitely with him, and they seem to look up to him. You look around the room, and there is hope on their faces. There is almost a religious hope on their faces as they look to their leader.
I think with like sort of tears at the edge of my eyes, I would look to my friends and say, I've been able to sleep the last few weeks when I haven't been able to for years. I believe in what Nesnar has to say and what he's going to do.
I'm happy for you, Solmia. Truly, I am. But any mortal who possesses the power to kill a god, it just doesn't sound right.
If it,
Yell at those kids, Hummer.
I was about to.
Nezdar smiles as you say this, Lunalia, and he says, if it helps, she's a really evil bitch who deserves to die.
I understand that.
And not
What's-
really a god.
And what's
More,
to stop you from taking her place?
I
Ooh.
have no reason to. I wish to see my people freed, not... Perhaps you misunderstand me. When I am done, I will disappear into the shadows. I have no intent to lead. My people can make their own way with her gone.
It has been my experience that the world of men, civilization, once people get a taste of power, they seem to have a hard time letting go. So you'll forgive me if I'm a little skeptical.
I understand. Somia, you've surrounded yourself with wise and cautious people. I applaud that. If there's
Nora.
anything I can do to convince you to let us be, if there is anything you wish from us, name it.
Keep Solmia safe.
It is already done.
Shoot, I forgot to ask. I went to ask about my vision.
Well, you run back in if you want. Be like, oh, hey, how about this?
I took a few deep breaths outside. I've calmed down a little.
Or what about Scribble?
Yeah, what about Scribble?
I was about to ask if he could bring back his friend. I forgot the name. Started with an M. Lunalia didn't
Malreth?
like him.
Yeah. He nods and just says, very well. He whispers something into his cupped hands and then lets it go. And 30 seconds or so later, you hear quiet footsteps, and the gaunt, tall drow appears through the illusory wall again, bows, smiles. Yes?
The magic you used to bring Gundren back to life. Is this a one-time thing, or are you able to make it happen repeatedly?
He looks at you and cocks his head, and there are gears turning in there. It comes at great cost. Why do you ask?
The one who was feeding Gundren to the owlbear seems to come back every time he dies.
Nice.
Nora approves.
The drow just looks at you and nods slowly. Do you wish to learn his secret, or do you wish to break his curse?
Are they different things?
Not entirely, and he smiles broadly. Nothing happens. Nothing is taken without something given. Ask yourself, if he returns and his soul is there, what price was paid to bring him back each time? I assure you, a price was paid. This guy he talks through a grin the entire time, and the grin is creepy.
who pays the price?
Ah, that is the question. Tell me, does this man like to kill?
It
He's not
seems so.
opposed to it.
Perhaps the souls of those he kills are what brings him back.
He's not happy with it. I believe he wishes the curse broken.
Nesnar interrupts for a second. Are you seeking to break Madric's curse?
We did tell him we would look into it, yes.
There's a look like he got a taste of something bad when he mentioned Madric's name.
I see you're familiar with him.
Unfortunately. He was none too happy about, well, what I did to his pet.
Oh. The wizard. Yes, about that also.
The wizard? The owlbear. It had eaten half of the dwarf. I had to retrieve it. I had to retrieve him from its...
You killed the owlbear?
He just looks at you like, oh god, I've pissed off the druid. How else was I to retrieve half a dwarf from its gullet?
You wait a few hours!
Oh, gross.
He just
Push a table
turns
at it.
He turns and looks at Maloreth, and Maloreth just shakes his head and grins broadly at him. There was barely enough left for me to work with. Any longer, and your friend would not have come back so completely.
Exactly how much is needed?
I had to borrow some pieces. Not much. Fingers. And a hand. Why?
No reason. She suddenly has an upset stomach. She's thinking of Lenine and her friend.
Hmm.
God, the whole business sounds unnatural.
Maloreth looks around the room and sort of bows his head in deference. If there's nothing else, I have important work, and the ritual left me drained. May I take my leave? He looks around and looks at Nesnar. Nesnar looks at all of you. Any more questions for our friend?
Can I come in about this time?
Sure.
Yeah, is he single?
There's a shadow that flashes at the entrance as Deebs walks in.
Let me ask you this. Is Gundren affected with the same curse as magic right now?
Maloreth looks at Nesnar with a confused look on his face. No, your friend is intact. If he dies again, he dies for good. I suggest you be careful with him.
I'm gonna insight check him.
Sure. Meanwhile, outside, there's a bear chewing on Gundren.
No, Rogar's outside with them.
Oh,
Rogar
yeah,
went
of
too.
course, Rogar's outside. Meanwhile, outside, Rogar's cooking Gundren.
Oh, God.
Rogar's chewing him with his dragonborn teeth.
Deebs, your insight check, he is being... This is a person who never tells the entire story. But he is being truthful as far as you can tell. There's just isn't... There, you just get the feeling there's something missing. Like, even when he's telling the truth, he's not telling you everything.
Typical. All right. I wanted to ask Nesnar. I had a vision of Duralamar burning with unnatural green flames, similar to the flames I see in here. I'm hoping this isn't related to you finding this forge and
Nice
gaining
one.
this weapon.
He mutters something and snaps his fingers, and the lights change from green to purple. Is that better? I simply.
You didn't
chose
answer my
green.
question.
I'm sorry, and it was again?
Are you
You're
aware?
asking-
Go ahead.
Are you asking if I intend to burn Dralamar to the ground?
Aye.
Well, then just ask that, dwarf.
What are your intentions? What are your intentions once you build this weapon? Again.
The weapon is to kill a god, not men.
Or no?
I've lived among your people. I lived in Dralamar for some years. Of course, not looking like this. And Flane and Ansburg and a few other places. I am well traveled and well acquainted with the surface world. I have no interest in it. My interest is to go home. To my people. And with what years I have left, focus my efforts on freeing them. And enjoying that freedom with them. See, now is where you'd insight check him.
Mm-hmm. Insight check.
Insight checking.
Yeah, no, sounds legit.
Well, Deebs, you see, the thing is, it's a little hard to tell because this guy is shady as fuck.
No
They
shit.
kind of all are. But you're just not getting the honesty that you want out of him.
Alright.
Yeah.
Do you say that out loud? I'm just not getting the honesty I want out of you.
It's he's not convincing enough, and it's really hard to tell if it's because he's being dishonest or if he's just. Maybe you need to hear the words, "I swear to you, I will not burn Dralamar to the ground," but it's just not quite convincing enough for you. And maybe that's just for you, but
Yeah.
yeah.
When you're talking to him, Deebs, do you smell any lavender there by chance?
Noro, interesting note. You can't for the last few days you can't shake the smell. Like you catch a whiff of it every now and then. Like the bar of soap is maybe stuck to the middle of your back where you can't reach or something weird like that. You keep catching a whiff of it now and then randomly. And it might just be your mind playing tricks on you. It might just be you missing it.
Pretty sure in my dreams I yelled out, "Lenine, the soap!"
Don't
lost
drop
it.
it, baby.
Man, I don't like any of this.
Well, no, the villain just, showed up and gave you your dead friend back with, the help of his creepy buddy, and is doing, doing the downplay monologue. You shouldn't like it. It is what it is, though.
So, yeah.
So, Salmia, are you wanting to stay with this person?
Well, I thought that I would do a proper goodbye with everyone and maybe go on a last adventure, but yes, I will be studying under the druid Shandara and further learning about where half of me comes from and supporting him the way I can, just as I will support all of you the way I'll be able to.
I see.
But what happens when we inevitably reach a point where this group's needs diverge from our needs? I understand how important it is to find a place where you belong and learn from people that you've never known. Believe me, I understand. I just hope it ends well.
Sorry, that was weird. Yes, I completely agree, Lunalia, and I'll make sure I don't do anything that would betray your trust in me if you saw me doing it.
Nesnar takes a few steps forward and places his hand on Somia's shoulder and looks at her, and there is a warmth that conjures within him as he looks at her. And he looks about the rest of the group and smiles, and a bit of his facade sort of falls away. And quietly, maybe quiet enough that the drow along the walls of the cavern don't hear him, he says, "This one means very much to me. Not just her, but what she represents. The future. The purity in her is something I have not seen in a drow before. The dark one who haunts her represents everything we stand against. I swear to you I will protect her. She will be safe. And as it is so clear that you all mean so very much to her, you are safe as well. If that is the promise I must make, to put all of your minds at ease, you have nothing to fear from me and mine. We will stay out of your way. Please stay out of ours. I apologize if... well... those around me need to see strength. Perhaps I should have met with you privately to be more open. And he kind of looks out of the corner of his eye in Maloreth's direction. They need to see strength in their leader, or they will doubt him. Is that good enough for you, dwarf?
As long as somebody is safe, and as long as we don't cross paths, we will be good.
And I'll let your insight check ride. You are pretty sure he is just a hair worried about Maloreth and maybe others in his ranks.
Like his sister.
Yeah.
She's now the person I want to murder.
Oh, she's a piece of shit. She is. I made her specifically for you guys to kill the shit out of her.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, come on. It was obvious. Jesus. You don't even need
yeah,
insight
for
check
sure.
for that one. She's she's not even a person. She's like a fucking cardboard cutout with the word evil bitch written on her.
Right? She's
The
got
way-
a boss bar over her head.
Yeah, she's walking around with a big boss bar. Yeah.
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 Can't wait to cleave her
There's
into...
there's a loot table, literally written on her back, and everything. Yeah.
Good stuff.
He takes
Well-
a couple steps back from the group, and as he does, his hand lingers on Somia's shoulder for a second and then pulls away, and he says, "When you're ready, call for me, and I will fetch you and take you home, or what I hope you will see as your home someday."
Just don't be late. I don't want to be the last kid waiting. Like after school or something. Never
This
mind.
guy here.
He just kind of looks at you and cocks his head to one side like he doesn't quite understand.
No, yeah, that was a side
Oh.
thing.
Well, then he doesn't.
Yeah, I will, Nesnar. Thank you.
Maloreth, just kind of quietly sensing that things are wrapping up, just grins in that creepy way at all of you and takes a step back into the illusory wall behind him.
Lunalia just gives him squinty eyes.
Yeah, you like it. Come on.
Like you want to hit it?
That's beside the point. He's bad news.
He's her other character's favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's such a he's kind of my favorite too.
He's changed a little, it sounds like. But not a lot.
Yeah, he's a little more two-dimensional, in the past. He's seen some shit. Maybe he's seen some of your guys' shit. Who knows? It's gonna really suck if you guys kill him and be like, well, how's that gonna work in the future?
He'll resurrect himself.
well,
He can do it.
He's got that plot armor.
With me around, you made that mistake, Poker. So,
You see, there's this little spell called clone.
Mm.
all right, well, all right, let's head out of here. Unless there's anything else.
No, I think
I've had enough. I'll be honest. I'm just done. I'm done.
Oh, racist Steve's.
So good.
things were a little too dark in here. Catch my meaning.
Damn it.
I need to be with the white people.
It's so funny, Deeps, how we're playing that as if it was a race thing, but it's purely on evil. But it's so funny.
They don't get it, Hummer. They don't get it.
Oh no, we get it.
It's not
Good
as
and
funny.
evil. It's good and evil. That's my, just like Hummer saying.
Why evil always gotta be dark?
They just happen to be. It's not his fault.
Oh, God.
Racist D&D inventors.
Oh, that's so funny.
You know what? No, you know what? I can't even say it. It'd ruin the fun. We'll find out later.
All right.
It has
all right.
nothing to do with any of this. I have a fun thing that'll
Just
really blow his mind. So, as you all look about the room, Nesnar takes a couple more steps back towards the illusory wall behind him and just says, "If there's nothing else, we'll take our leave. I wish you all safe journeys, and I'm glad we had this little talk." He looks at Noro for a long second, and there's just a bit of a nod, like he's acknowledging something. Noro, maybe something that you did.
He has your soap.
Sold.
He should do that trick where he like pulls like a coin behind a kid's ear, but instead it's like the bar of soap.
It's a bar of soap.
No, he looks at you, Noro, and there's just a quiet nod, like he's acknowledging you for some reason, maybe something you did. It's like a subtle, almost silent thank you.
I still don't like it.
Does
Nora just-
Lunalia's perception pick it up?
Yes.
Nora just says, I just hope my boot never meets you somewhere near a cliff. I'm pushing everybody over.
Be assured if anything happens to Solmia, it will.
Yes.
And then she'll leave the cave.
I follow.
As you guys all leave, Deebs, you distinctly catch the floating lights change from purple back to green before they disappear.
Oh, the son of.
And the cave goes dark behind you.
See, this is what I'm talking about. this is what I'm talking about.
Wait a minute, what? I just missed something. What?
Maybe he just likes the color green.
He just shifted the purple lights back to green as you guys were leaving, and then put them out.
Got it.
As Noro, it'd be like as Noro left the cave, seeing the last person who didn't have dark vision leave.
Is there Xanax in your world, Poker? And if so, can I grind it up and feed it to Deebs every morning?
It's called ale, but it's about finding that sweet spot between angry drunk and incoherent drunk.
Right.
So good.
Well, you all find yourselves outside this cave. Rogar, Gundren, who you know, and have now been speaking with, albeit a little bit slowly, for the past few minutes. You're fairly certain this is him. It's been a while since you've seen him. I mean, the last time he was at camp was 5-6 weeks ago. He'd more than that. 2 months ago, he'd gone off to Dralamar for supplies and to drum up some support for their expedition. And the brothers had continued on without him, and hired a couple miners. You guys have gone through a couple of different hired hands around the camp, and have settled on the 3 dipshits that now protect the camp. They seem to be sort of the best of a couple of different folks you've rotated through. It's, as far as you can tell, it's Gundren. He's alive. He's stitched together. His wounds seem to be healing. And he is just badly shaken and very much out of it. But he's asked you, where are we? Are my brothers all right? Did they find the mine? Why are you here? Why aren't you with them? He's asking a lot of questions, trying to catch up on what's happened. But he's a little out of it too. And as the rest of the party comes back out, he looks around, and he points at Deebs and Noro and Scribble. He says, "Those are the 3 I hired. I hired them in Dralamar to help us. And here they are."
Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Nora just says something along the lines of man, I'm gonna have a story to tell my grandkids. Because I'm thinking in my mind about what has been said as Noro being a Goliath from the mountains, taking some guy's half body out of an owlbear and put together, and he's just kind of shocked. He's still shocked about the whole thing.
I imagine you're quite weirded out by all of this.
Yeah, it's because you don't touch the dead. What are you doing? My superstitions fall in there. And if anything, Noro's looking at Rogar, because I don't know if Rogar knows Gundren. He knows the brothers, obviously, but I don't know if there's some kind of connection there. So I'm just observing at this point the interactions. But I'm shocked. I can't believe it.
Gundren looks up at the rest of the party and then back at Rogar, and he says, "Well, I want to see my brothers. Can you take me to them?"
I think we can pass by the camp on the way to our destination.
Well, this was only an hour out of the way, right? We've got to go back in that direction anyway.
No, we'll go. We'll go no matter what. We'll take him there.
Hi. It's good to see them again. I never thought to.
Your brothers will look forward to seeing you.
This entire time, every time he speaks, He's got a 1,000-yard stare. Every time he speaks, he sort of trails off at the end of the sentence, looking off into the distance, with almost a blank expression on his face, like he's remembering things, like he's trying to forget things. Let's go. Sorry, I'm a bit slow.
Hey,
Lunalia is going to shapeshift or wild shape.
Into?
Well, she's going to take off the heavy fur that she uses, and she'll hand it to Gundren. And then Solmia came with us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, unless she didn't.
No, I'm hanging out with you guys.
Yeah. So she's going to say to Solmia, maybe you could help Gundren hold on to him, and I'll wild shape into something that can carry you both. And she will shift into. I don't have the new shapes in my list here, apparently.
White dragon.
Nope, that's
It was
not
a
showing.
crocodile, an ape, and a warhorse.
Yeah, so she's gonna go for the big warhorse.
All right. So as there's a swirl of bluish green energy as Lunalia sort of kneels down on one knee, and as she begins to stand up, her form shifts and changes, and this massive muscled warhorse grows out of her knelt down form. No saddle though.
green.
No saddle.
Oh, God.
No, it was just a
No, it's a dark gray.
nature magic swirled around you, green, blue, green, something.
Yeah, nature magic's always blue-green. The horse itself is grayish, but it does have a green mane.
What?
Nice.
A mane like green fire.
Yeah.
Poker, quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Would this do anything to help Gundren?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean you could cast her for flavor, but he's not blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Okay.
He's you know what? Yeah, Solmia got a really high medicine check. He has the equivalent of like 3 levels of exhaustion. He is
Okay.
he
Got
is just back from the dead, pieced together, and not in great shape. He's gonna need some long rests.
Well, yeah, and some of the pieces weren't his.
Yeah. Yeah, and you see that now in the light. There
How come 3 of your fingers look like drow fingers?
one of his hands is a slightly different shade than the others, and you can see it's stitched in, the very, very rough stitching all the way around the wrist. It's a little bit different color. It's got a different sort of density of hair on it, and the hair is his hair is dark. The hair on the back of his hand is like reddish.
Good lord.
On his other hand, there are a couple fingers that match the odd-colored hand, and they are dwarvish, from who you're not quite sure. And you actually see as he moves and throws the fur on about himself, you see that there are actually other parts of flesh that have been stitched on from someone else as well.
It grosses Lunalia out, actually.
So this is the reason, like Deebs had his "this is why" moment with the whole green light, purple back to green. This is me with the "this is why" the dead. You just, what am I looking at? Like I'm freaked out.
Oh God, yeah. This is like this is probably the most perverse, terrifying thing that Noro's ever seen. Do you want to make a wisdom check to see how well you handle it?
Yes, this would be fun to do.
Wisdom saving throw to see how well you handle it.
Is he gonna puke?
He's gonna wrestle him.
Gosh, I don't know what's gonna happen.
I'm at least wow.
Oh. You steal
Ultra
yourself.
wise today.
Wow, not even an Ay Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío.
Nora,
Wow.
this is perverse and terrifying, but you can't let your guard down. There's drow nearby, and you really probably didn't like him very much. And
No.
there was a lot of words tossed around, but at the end of the day, you got to watch everybody's backs, just in
Right.
case those words swayed them because they didn't sway you. Especially after seeing what they did with Gundren. So you
Yeah.
steel your resolve and you
Trying to hold it together.
stay on guard, but you can't help but watch Gundren out of the corner of your eye and just shake your head at what he's become.
Aww. Don't be such a bitch, McCoy.
Okay.
So, if there's nothing else, you, with Linalia's horsey help, you take Gundren back to his brother's camp. I'm assuming, is he the only one riding, or?
No,
I was writing to.
Oh,
to
sorry. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So you get him situated and keep him from falling off. And the journey back's not hard. With Rogar leading the way with his familiarity with this area. You make it back to the camp. You can see that Yanis, the big man, is on guard. Just up on the edge of the cliff, sort of looking down at the cliff, the valley below. He sees you all return. Kind of an odd look on his face, and he waves awkwardly.
Do we want to, like, I don't know, carry Gundren in a bag or something?
No.
Should I roll him up the hill in a barrel?
Stuff him back in a barrel.
I would say before we reach camp, Rogar would walk next to Deebs and let him know you should probably be prepared to offer an explanation, considering what you told his brothers.
prepare to lie, Deebs. In other words, prepare to lie.
Well, I
You're
didn't.
good at it.
Well, I mean, I told him that I didn't know what happened to his body,
That's true.
so I didn't lie about that part.
Yeah, what you gonna lie about this time?
I don't know. We'll see. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think there was any mention of the doppelganger's current whereabouts. Although,
But you said we killed him.
well, Deeps told the brothers that the doppelganger's dead.
No,
Ezra didn't.
Deeb said that that the killer or the doppelganger had been handled, not necessarily killed.
No,
okay.
he said it was killed.
I
Five
thought he
Q.
said killed.
I don't know.
It was, yeah, he said it was killed. That's why we said he's lying.
Yeah.
But what Rogar is referring to is just like an explanation of, hey, we found him.
Yeah, I get you.
Here's the body.
Let's.
Yeah, shit, he was just in a cave, like, right over there, hanging out. Yeah, I mean,
actually, yeah.
Craigmore Castle is a long ways away from here.
Rogar,
For
it would,
4 days.
it would probably be a good idea for you to go first.
Right.
With-
And I'll
yeah.
go get the brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll just we'll make it quick. You you greet Yanis and just tell him you're back with a surprise. He's never actually met Gundren. He hired on after Gundren left, and so he doesn't talk a whole lot anyway, and he just kind of steps aside and lets you all return. Rogar, you go and find the brothers. They are hard at work. Their 2-man mining team, along with Tharden, is digging away while Nundro stands at a lantern-lit table with a compass and protractor and a map of the area, and he's seems to be charting out the course that they've taken. They seem to have made a right turn here in their mine and are moving in a little bit different direction. He sees you first and, oh, you're back soon. Tharden Rogar's back. What'd you forget your pot?
No, more bringing something back that you would probably really like to see.
You don't want to take your pot?
I think it'll probably get more use here. Besides, I already have some in my pack.
Okay. I'm confused. Why are you telling me you brought your pot back?
Just
sit down and shut up.
get your brother and meet me outside.
Tharden! What?
Did you step away from the mic?
Kind of sounded like it.
So good.
Brilliant.
Love it. I love it.
Commitment.
I love it.
Rogar's back! What's he want? Did he forget his pot? No, he brought it back. Why the fuck do I care? I don't know. He wants to talk to you. What?
Rogar's just holding the bridge of his nose. Can we just come outside?
And
Aye, when we're done for the day.
This is important.
Oh, fine. Fine. Come on, Nindro. I don't understand why all of this about the pot. It's just a pot. It makes really good stew, but it's not worth all of this trouble. Oh, my map! Hang on! And he runs back, gets the map, and as he's following you guys, he continues staring at this map, scratching his head and mumbling to himself. Rogar comes out of the cave with the two brothers, Tharden looking perturbed to be interrupted, and Nundro face deep in a map, mumbling to himself as he turns it one way and then the other. Gundren now dismounted. Linelia, I'm assuming you've shifted back. It would have taken most of an hour to get here.
Yeah.
Gundren's on the ground, leaning heavily against Noro, or at least trying to. Noro, he kind of staggers over to you and goes to lean against your arm.
mm-hmm.
Do you let this abomination do that, or do you like back away cautiously?
I kind of do a move where I'm disgusted, but I help him because it's him, it's him, but I'm trying to get past it. But I do want to make a point that if he leaves for me, I'm going to turn around and just start barfing.
Oof.
Boy.
It's like holding a dirty sock at arm's length.
Yes.
So, but you do kind of help
Yes,
him.
I do.
Okay.
I'm just fighting the urge to barf now.
He looks up and sees his brothers and just straightens up a bit and starts slowly walking their way. Very, very slowly, almost tripping over his own feet. And Tharden looks up, sort of reaches over without even looking and bats the map down so his brother can see. The two of them just stand there looking at what appears to be their dead brother come walking towards them. What's this? What have you brought us? You told us he was... They told us he was dead. Gundren! Is that you? Hi, brother. It's me. It's me. He just kind of stops a couple feet away from them. And Nundro is stammering, and Tharden just... He's looking at his brother with a look of disbelief, and he looks past him at Deebs. What's the meaning of this? You told me he was dead.
I thought he was. But we found him.
Tharden, it was the drow. They put me back together. They brought me back. I can tell you more, but I need to sit down. I'm very tired. Very tired. Tharden just looks at you, Deebs, with this look on his face like he doesn't know what to do with this. The drow did this.
The drow brought him back.
Whatever for? And how?
Because he should have never died in the first place. They're trying to make amends.
The fuck you say?
I don't think it's important how.
He's back,
fact-
though.
In fact, you really don't want to know. She sort of does a shudder.
And this is where Nora barfs.
Good timing.
On
Right.
Gundren or away from him?
No, Gundren's staggered a distance away to meet his brothers. Tharden just says, "Come on, let's get him to a tent and sort this out." He looks over his shoulder at Deebs. Are you sure? Are you sure this is him? Are you sure he's not? And he sort of does a little bit of holds his arms up and does a bit of a zombie walk. Are you sure he's not that?
Tharden. He's just, I believe he's just severely exhausted. He should be back to normal in a few days.
Are you sure? He takes a couple steps closer and gets very quiet and very menacing. Are you sure? I can tell if it's my brother's mind in there. Don't worry. I've known him long enough. No imposter can evade me for long. But I need to know he's really alive. And not something else.
Is he saying that loud enough for everyone to hear?
I mean, it's a quiet growl. So if you were within 5 feet, you'd hear it. If you were, 10, 15 feet away or further, you probably wouldn't. You would know he's talking to Deebs, but he got real quiet and very, very menacing sounding.
Okay.
I mean, he rolled an 8 on his intimidation check, but good effort anyway.
Tharden, I'll be honest, I don't know for sure. It looks like he's been kind of put back together. I don't know. He seems to be himself.
You might find some of the original pieces missing.
I don't even know what to say to that. He turns to Deebs and you pray to your god. You ask her what he is.
Damn.
You tell me what she says.
I will pray.
He turns around and he goes and he puts his arm around his alive brother. He thinks, he hopes, and helps him to a tent to go lie down. Well, Mr. Cleric, is he alive?
It's not nighttime.
You can only pray at night?
Oh, the moonlight.
No, I mean, he can pray anytime. No, a cleric can pray anytime they want. It's, it's just,
All right. Then I will.
His god's just going to be grumpy because she got woken up?
Well, yeah, exactly. They traditionally pray for spells, at nighttime.
At night, right.
All right, then I will step away and ask Saloon. Saloone.
Lune.
Turns
She
out
loves
Deep's
it when you
never
call her
actually
that.
talked to its god. He's just been that drunk.
Wow.
Deebs, you you step away from the group. You find a quiet spot. And you close your eyes and you begin to pray, and you beg your goddess for an answer, for help, for anything that can help. And the answer you find, the answer you receive, not so much in words, but in just a feeling, there's a confidence that wells up within you that you have a way. There is a spell that you have access to. You maybe don't have it prepared, but it would tell you with certainty if he is at least undead, magically desecrated, if he is something other than the living. And that spell is detect evil and good.
All right, that's what I was just looking at that. Yeah, I don't have that prepared.
Yeah.
All right, then I will spend the evening preparing that spell.
Welcome to the mechanics of D&D. Sorry guys, I don't have that prepared, but I can have it tomorrow.
Oh.
They're prepared.
Are you guys okay to just fast forward?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no harm in doing it. You know, Solmia, you've been told, call me when you're done and I'll come pick you up from, hanging out with your little friends.
Yeah.
Nobody else is in a huge hurry. And this is bringing Gundred back's a pretty big deal to, the brothers at least. Deebs,
right.
I imagine you would tell the rest of them that.
I let them know. I have a spell I can cast to determine what's going on with Gundren. I'll need a night's rest to get it prepared.
And so, a night's rest you take, and we find you all the next morning. Deebs, the new moon, as it always has been, is unsettling.
Do I have any visions?
You don't, and it is perhaps because of the absence of her light that you feel she is distant. But you receive her blessing as you always do, and
Before we get started with the day, do you think we
Yes.
could take a 5-minute break?
absolutely. Everybody okay with that?
How dare you? Yep.
How dare you?
Well, then I will just piss myself.
Nice.
Nope.
Just get a fucking Gatorade bottle, Poker. Come on.
Jesus.
Nice.
All right.
No.
5-minute. we're back.
So, Deebs, the next morning, with your newly received blessing, what do you do?
I go over to Gundren and I let Arden know. I have a spell. I have a spell I can cast to see what's up with Gundren. If you allow me to cast it.
Aye. Nundro, send the others away. I don't want anyone else around for this, right? Hold for a minute. He goes out of the tent and he comes back with a battle axe in one hand.
Ooh.
Shit.
Gundren just looks at him with a terrified look on his face. He looks a little better than before. A night's rest seems to have done some good. But Gundren looks up at you and he says, "Well, yeah, you best do it, boy. I don't quite feel right, I must admit. Do what needs to be done."
All right. I will cast the detect good or evil.
Aww.
As you utter the incantation and trace the holy symbol in front of you with your free hand, your other hand on your holy what is it again? It's a moonstone, is it not? That Deebs wears. He has a moonstone necklace.
You don't know what your holy
I
symbol is?
I was looking at the thing. Yeah, it is. It is.
So with the one hand you grasp your holy symbol, the other hand you trace a holy sign in the air. There is a faint shimmer of golden light that follows your fingers. You place a hand on his forehead, pushing through that magical shimmer of golden light. And as you close your eyes, you get a sense that pulses out around you, almost like radar. You don't sense anything in the far distance, and as your senses pull back from the first sort of ping of it and focus on the figure sitting in front of you on Gundren, you push deep and you feel just a hint of something. He's not undead, but there is something there that is not quite right. There's a faint sense of undeath or desecration about him.
Oh boy.
And you think back to a time earlier on in your training, where you were taken deep into the catacombs beneath the temple, a place where clerics who trained for war would be taken to face their first abomination, their first creature of undeath. And there, deep in the crypts, you were confronted with a chained creature, what had once been a man who had mostly rotted away, and who tore at his bonds to try and get to you and others. You were shown it. You were taught what this thing was. You were taught this spell and how to detect this thing, how to close your eyes, walk paces away, utter the words, trace the symbol, and feel the presence of this thing near you, you get that feeling again. But it's very faint. Standing this close to him with your hand placed on his forehead, it shouldn't feel this faint. You know what that felt like the last time you cast this spell so long ago, and it's not the same, but there is just a tiny bit of it in there. It's faint, but it's there. He is mostly alive.
Mostly alive.
Like if you had to put a percentage on it.
He's like 95% alive.
Mm.
There is a taint of undeath on him, but he is not undead.
Tharden,
Those fingers are gonna fall off.
You should probably keep that to yourself, right? I mean, if he's 95%.
You know, you could make an Arcana or Religion check, your choice.
I'll do religion.
You're not certain? There is a possibility that it's just a musing that forms in your head. If the spell or spells that were used to reassemble him were necrotic in nature, were of the school of necromancy, there is just a possibility, and you really have to discuss it with somebody who is more familiar with these sort of things than you are, but there's just a hint of a possibility that there is some taint left by that spell, and that maybe this is okay. Maybe it's just a result of how he was put back together, or how he was brought back, and it's not anything wrong with him. You're not
There we
certain.
go.
All right.
But it could be explained away that way, at least for now.
I'm gonna be. I've already lied to Thardrin once, or Thardin.
So it should be
sorry.
even easier this
So I don't.
time.
I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do it again. So,
We talk
So
about
I say-
practice.
Thardin, it is him. I do sense a bit of slight bit of undeath, but I believe it may be from the magics that brought him back. But I believe that's it is Gundren.
His eyes narrow as his fingers tighten about the axe grip, the leather squelching under his grip. What exactly do you mean? I know it's him. He told me things that only he and I know. He's not one of those. He's alive. Yeah?
Aye, that's correct.
Right. And Gundren's just sitting there looking at the two of you nervously. So I'm okay? I mean, I still feel like I was killed and eaten and sewn back together, but I'm okay. I'm me.
Aye, you are.
Right. Well, Gundren, I guess we'll have to... How... Do you think we can drink it away?
We can try.
Good. Well, we'll start with that. Right, brother? And he punches Gundren in the arm, and Gundren just falls over. Gets back up slowly. Not so fast, brother. I'm not entirely back together yet. He looks down at his other hand that is somebody else's. This is going to take some getting used to. He looks up at Deebs. He says, thank you, my friend. Certainly didn't count on all that you and the others have done when I hired you. You've gone well beyond what I would have expected. But I like to think my intuition was correct when I thought you were good lads.
I'm sorry what you've been through, Gundren. I really wish we could have saved you in time.
I really wish instead of losing a hand and some fingers, I'd lost a part of my brain that remembers what that thing did to me for all those days. Terrible things.
Wouldn't the ale help with that?
He kind of just zones out again, like he's remembering bad stuff that happened.
Aw.
Tharden just slaps him on the shoulder again. Right, Ale will fix that too. Alright, well, you and your lads should probably go. We got this. Go on! I mean, unless you've got something else you can do to fix him.
I think he just needs rest.
Right,
An ale.
well, I'll get him fucking drunk and he'll rest. Gundren just kind of looks at you weakly and shrugs like there's nothing he can do to stop it.
Alright, well, unless anyone has anything else, let's head out.
And so, the party forms up and finds yourselves leaving camp for the second time in a couple of days. The journey back out into the main valley, east of Phandalin, is uneventful as the sun warms the foothills. A warm breeze blows from the west as you strike out across the valley. Who is leading the way? Now, the rest of the party knows their way roughly here, with the exception of Solmia. Rogar, you, I believe, would know the route back to Phandalin pretty well. There is no marked road, per se. But if you're headed north, I'm going to let you tell me if you've ever been through the low mountain pass that connects the valley you're in here, where I'm pinging on the map, to the Edeline Valley to the north. And the pass would be right in the mountains here. I know that Rogar spent some time in Phandalin at the Stonehill Inn. But between then and now, after he came to this camp, would there have been any time or reason where he would have ventured north to that pass, or would he only maybe have heard of it?
Probably would have only heard of it.
Okay. So then, with none of you knowing exactly where to go, but having heard of this pass and having been pointed in a general direction by Tharden and the others, I guess we need a marching order, and who is making survival checks to find their way there?
I can,
got-
or Solm can.
I got extra sweet survival checks now. So
Yeah, you do it then.
Cool.
you want me to roll one?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead. And
Extra
plus
sweet.
six. Plus six is impressive.
Extra sweet. Oh, man.
Extra sweet, just like diabetes.
Oh man, what a waste.
Could me and Solm be walking out front together to just catch up on things?
Yeah, there we go.
No, we're having girl talk.
So then I could roll again, right? Because she's helping me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Oh man.
Oh,
That's
thank God.
better.
Would
Hey,
have
a whole
laughed if
10
you got
better.
it too.
A little bit of a rough start, but you find your footing and you find your way. Traveling on foot without the wagon, actually, the four of you who came out here with Kurt and the wagon in tow, find it just so much easier to not have to look for, the path of least resistance. Just being able to climb over, rocks or rocky outcroppings or scale a very short cliff that you might come across, or blaze your way through a little bit of dense terrain, dense underbrush. It's just so much easier on foot without a wagon and oxen. Even though Deebs might miss his Oxy 2 and 3. After not very many hours of travel, you find your way into the foothills on the far end of the valley. The trees here are slightly less dense. And as you make your way up the foothills and into the mountains, you do indeed see a low point in between the mountain peaks. A pass that cuts sharply in between two of the peaks. Below the snow line here in the mid-spring, as the melt is well underway. Crossing small streams as you make your way up, the trees begin to thin out even more, and you find yourself climbing up rocky cliffs, sort of having to make your own way, but confident that there is a pass up ahead that will see you at least not scaling mountains. This is going to be a travel challenge, and the way this will work is I will describe the surroundings. I'll do my best to set the scene and try and describe some of the general dangers you might come across. And what we'll be doing is we'll be going around the group, and we'll have each of you pick a skill in which you are proficient, and describe how you would use that skill to make the journey easier, safer, keep your friends out of trouble and keep you on the path. You can be creative. If you don't know, you can ask me for help describing that skill. Clicking on the skill and reading its description might give you some ideas on what you could do. An easy one, obviously, is survival. The only two things to remember are, one, you must have proficiency in that skill. And it doesn't entirely have to make sense. I've seen somebody intimidate a jungle before to try and make their way safe, to comic effect. And the other thing is you can't use a skill that has been used previously. So let's say if Lunalia uses her survival skill to help with the travel challenge, Solmia cannot then also roll survival. She'd have to pick something else that she's proficient in. There is a difficulty. In this case, the DC is going to be 15. The reason the DC is advertised up front is to help you pick your proficiencies. Like, you want to pick something that if it was a DC 19, you'd only want to be rolling on stuff you had a high bonus for. We're looking for 3 successes before 3 failures for the group to succeed. And if the group reaches 3 failures before 3 successes, you would encounter a setback. Now, that setback might be a monster attacks you. That setback might be a rock slide that injures the party and sets you back. It might simply just be getting lost. It kind of depends on the scenario, the setting, and the individual skill checks that were made. So I will begin with a bit of a description. As you wend your way up the mountain slopes, you find your way into a narrow, rocky valley. Sparse trees jut out from the steep slopes on either side of you. Washes of shale occasionally run across your path. There is a sparse trail, but there's not much to it, and it looks like it's not well traveled. Certainly nothing a wagon could go up. It is a footpath, no wider. Around every corner may lurk hidden dangers, as there are many blind corners behind large boulders, and the ground itself is cracked and jagged, and you find yourself climbing up and down as you make your way. There are hidden dangers. There is unstable footing. There are potential loose rocks above you. There are many places where predators may hide. The only thing that is certain is the sun is bright. There's barely a cloud in the sky, the cloud cover from the night prior having blown over. And so, as we begin, I'd like to ask somebody in the party, probably one of the two out front to start with, to describe what they would do to help the party succeed as they make their way through this mountain pass.
Go ahead, Son.
I guess just like be super on the lookout for, because I got really high perception and my survival skills, so I would just be on like high alert for any possible like changes in the environment or listening.
It's your choice of which one of those two you roll on, as long as you've got proficiency in both.
Gotcha. I will do survival.
I can't wait to see how Rogar uses his cooking skill to help. It's going to be amazing. 21 on the survival check for the party's first success. Solmia, you do an excellent job striking a path. Not really finding any predators lying in wait. But you do spot a couple of places where the footing is difficult, and at one point, pointing out a ledge that you all have to move along over a 30-foot deep crevasse. You spot a bit of loose rock and point it out to the party. You all make your way around it. Noro slips just a bit, and the rock crumbles away. But thanks to your helpful instruction, he manages to not fall.
Nice.
Who's next?
I will go next, and I will use my medicine. Seeing that, some of us are struggling a little, I'm going to use my medicine check to make sure that we are all stretching properly, to make sure that our muscles are limber. I'll remind everyone the air up here is a little bit thinner, so let's spend some time doing some deep breathing to get our lungs acclimated.
Love it.
Well, I don't want to waste, perception or survival if somebody else has it, so I will use my medicine.
Solid.
Makes sense.
Nice.
All right.
The party is sped along quickly with Lunelia's advice. Everybody paying attention to their physical condition, taking the deep breaths, preparing themselves for the thinner air, listening to their bodies, stopping when they need to rest, taking that extra time to stretch a bit. And as a result, you all find yourselves a little bit further ahead than you should be at this point. It looks like the peak of this pass is within sight. A narrow opening between steep rock falls on either sides. Who would like to make the third check?
I'll do the third check, and I'll actually use perception to check for a possible ambush or anything like that up ahead in the pass.
And it's a smart place to do it. There is definitely a choke point coming up that you'll want to be extra careful for.
Gosh darn it.
God damn it.
Well, that's only one fail. Deebs takes a few steps ahead of the rest of the party and holds a hand up as he scouts the area ahead, paying extra attention to where things might be hiding in the rocks. You're distracted, however, by a shadow that crosses the sun
Oh, man.
in the distance. And as a result, you end up spending most of your attention watching the skies and not the path ahead. Who's next?
Noro.
Nora, what are you doing? This is your home, man. These are your mountains.
I just wanted to point that out.
Well,
So
what skill are you thinking of?
Athletics checks, and I guess it would be more like properly securing the gear as we.
Or you could give us turns piggybacking.
You could yeet them up a steep cliff to a ledge that would lead them around a potential choke point where a predator might be waiting to ambush them.
I like that.
Well,
Thanks for the help.
make your athletics check. Given that this is your favorite terrain, you're very familiar with places like this, I'm going to give you advantage on the roll. Or you could just rage yeet for advantage.
Ragey.
And there's the party's third success. Noro spots a ledge not too high up, just within range of him giving each one of you a boost and then doing a bit of deft climbing himself to catch up. You all make your way up and find a narrow path that leads up and over what would have been a battle map.
Whoa.
That had
Ah, dragon.
a troll waiting in ambush.
Ooh.
You could have
As you make your way
that.
quietly, I need the group to make a group stealth check.
Oh,
dear.
no.
Can I cast Pass Without a Trace on the group?
You certainly can.
Woohoo!
Noise.
Oh man.
Everybody gets a plus 10 to stealth.
Let's go 1.
So I have a disadvantage for stealth.
You certainly do.
As do I.
So does Rogar.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh no.
Wow.
Holy shit.
It's still a 13, and Deebs, that's a 23. That's the beauty of Pass Without a Trace. I'm still waiting for Noro, and is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised that I rolled a double 3.
It's hilarious.
I like it.
God, I'm glad I took that spell.
Welcome to Roll20. It gets streaky as shit. The troll. Let's see. Stat block, stat block, stat block. Ooh. $28, 19, 30, 13, 23, and 23. With the exception of Rogar, you all beat its perception. And because the group succeeded on the stealth check, with the exception of Rogar, you guys managed to help him and keep him quiet enough that the troll doesn't see you. This massive, hulking, 10-foot tall, green-skinned creature. You guys are probably all familiar with a Dungeons & Dragons troll, but I'm going to post a picture just for fun.
shit, it's green.
Oh, you only had a problem with gray.
Starts with a G.
I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out because of the green vision.
It's in the group chat. Long, dirty claws. Its skin green and covered in strange lumps and warts. Its somewhat almost goblinoid face. Bearing an oversized nose and large pointed teeth. Its hair tangled into disgusting, greasy locks. This thing you can almost smell it from this distance. Yeah, it is unwashed. As it turns and looks around, it breathes heavily, and you catch a whiff of something rotting that must be its breath. That stalks around in this narrow passage between the two steep cliffs, and does not see you as you slip past it. You get a good distance beyond, and find another spot where you can start to descend. I'll put everybody back on the other map, so I can show you whereabouts you're at. And as you come down the other side, you find the descent easier than your path up. The hills here slope lazily up towards the mountain's shoulders. Trees falling away quickly to rolling green grass that descends down into the Edelweiss Valley. You see far off in the distance the low valley road that strikes a path east to west. The shimmer of sunlight off Edelweiss Lake. And just off at the very edge of your visual distance, you can see the dark stripe of green, the very edge of the Elmshade Deepwood that begins to rise away from the lake's far banks. Looking to the west, just a sliver of silver off in the horizon that must be the Deepwater Strait. And as you look to the east, where those of you who've looked at the map before know there is a small town at the far end of the Edelweiss Lake. You see curls of black smoke in the distance. A town burning.
Well, shit.
Poker, before we get to that point, noticing that Rogar was riding the struggle bus, can I hand him my potion of invisibility?
Yeah, you certainly can.
I just figure that's a good RP moment to do like an inventory transfer. That's
like, here, kid, you need this more than I do.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I had. But yeah,
cool. Yeah, I'm actually on Rogar's character sheet and have just added it.
Cool.
This should be PTSD for Deebs.
If the town's burning, I'm heading there like ASAP.
Yeah, it's it's a day's travel from here.
Okay.
And you are, pushing late afternoon, early evening at this point. You can travel into the night. There will be some constitution checks to avoid exhaustion after 8 hours of travel. Those of you that have higher cons can travel a little bit longer before you start making checks. But you could push on and force march all the way to Coneybury.
Yeah, I mean, if we can see that it's burning, I would imagine that's what we're going to do.
Daytime
So-
by the time we...
question: if Lunelli and I both turned into war horses, can we get there faster if everyone rode on us?
It only does it for an hour.
Oh,
Well,
gotcha.
yeah. So she's burned 1, and I think you've got 2, right? I don't remember how many wild shapes you get per day at this level. If it's 1 or 2.
Didn't we stay
It's 2.
overnight?
Yeah, we would
you
have.
did.
We'd
Yeah,
both
sorry.
have 2.
Yeah, you both have 2. So you could do it for 2 hours. Yeah, you could double your movement speed. That's a really good question, and I have to look it up.
So it would be war horses. We couldn't carry everyone.
Yeah, I was just thinking about the big fucking dragon.
Yeah. Between Rogar and Noro, what is a war horse's strength? Do you guys have the stats for him, or do you need me to look him up?
Oh, and it's at 2 hours now.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Oh,
Okay.
is it?
Yeah, so we would have 4 hours.
Well, that's different.
Well, we technically have
8
8 hours
hours.
total.
But ideally, you don't want
Well.
to burn them both.
5 of you aren't going to fit on one war horse.
No.
Whoa,
wait,
sorry.
Right.
Yeah,
I'll ride on Noro's back.
that's
The warhorse has 18 strength.
Mhm.
Wow.
Strong.
Strong indeed.
And they move 60.
Are we pulling a cart or something?
No.
for that
No.
fort?
No.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just
yeah.
I'm just having a quick refresh on travel pace. Travel pace table, you can move at a normal, fast, or slow pace. A fast pace makes you less perceptive. A slow pace makes it possible to sneak around and to search more carefully. You can travel for 8 hours a day. You can push on beyond that limit at the risk of exhaustion. For each additional hour of travel beyond 8, the characters cover the distance shown in the hour column for the pace, and each character must make a Constitution saving throw at the end of the hour. The DC is 10 plus 1 for each hour past 8. So after 9 hours, you'd roll against a DC of 11. After 10 hours, you roll against a DC of 12. On a failed saving throw, you suffer a level of exhaustion, and that's a con save. For short spans of time up to an hour, many animals move much faster than humanoids. A mounted character can ride at a gallop for about an hour, covering twice the usual distance for a fast pace. If fresh mounts are available every 8 to 10 miles, characters can cover larger distances at this pace, but this is very rare except in densely populated areas. So these are, and I'll just paste the table in. So these are the rates that you would travel at fast, normal, and slow. So assuming you're moving at a fast pace, you can move at 400 feet per minute, or 4 miles per hour, or 30 miles per day in 8 hours, with no penalty other than your passive perception drops by 5, which I think means Lunalia's is still 15 because of her feat. So you could cover 30 miles, and that is 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. You could easily reach Coneyberry by nightfall, or just past nightfall. It would be dark.
Would we get
or
there
just a
any
little
quicker,
past.
though, if we burned slots?
You would. For an hour, you could cover twice the usual distance. So yeah, you could knock
It would be 2 hours, then.
2 hours off of that. You'd get there right at dusk.
Let's do it.
Getting there in the evening is better, anyways, wouldn't it be? Less probability of being seen in case it's currently being raided.
Yeah, but it's also easier to see during the day. My large blind friend.
It's true.
It's up to you guys. I mean, I'm fine to blow at least one. Christ.
She's fine to blow at least one. Oh man.
That's great.
Damn it.
That's awesome.
Spitters are quitters, am I right?
Gonna get Deebs banned from Twitch.
I want to. We need to get there as soon as possible.
I didn't even realize. Oh, man.
Wow.
So yes, I think we should do what we can to arrive at the town as quickly as possible.
So you're asking for us to blow one.
Yeah.
Soul can blow one too, you know.
So Lunalia and I will both blow one.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, since I saw Lunalia turn into the warhorse, I'm guessing I'm able to now as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
And so we can go for 2 hours each.
Can you
A lot of blowing.
Shut up,
with
Peeps.
your warhorse's constitution? Can you each make a Constitution saving throw?
I don't have it in my D&D Beyond, but
Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to click that twice, but the first one was 20. So
Nice.
can I roll it from here?
yeah, just
Probably.
you just click on the B above the con on the warhorse page.
That's cool.
Yeah, the only thing you can't do is track hit points that way.
This is con, sorry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, you're both fine. So you are both able to push for the second hour at double speed as well. And so as a result, in a total of go ahead and each make a con check again, or sorry, a con save again for the second. I guess this would be the fourth hour.
Rip.
What do you mean by the fourth hour?
Well, if you wild shape twice.
Were we wild shaping twice or just one?
I thought we were just going to do it once.
That's
Oh,
what
you're
I'm
just doing it once? Okay, sorry.
But-
if you're just doing it once.
because we were just
then-
blowing one. Remember?
Right. You're blowing one. I got overly excited with all the blowing.
There's only so many we can blow in a day.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, it's because you take so long doing it, right?
Right.
So we're having fun.
Oh, Lucid.
Oh boy. So with the 2 hours oh boy, riding at a gallop, covering twice your usual distance. That is 8 miles. You manage to knock a couple hours off, and you begin to see the outline of the buildings off in the distance across the narrowing lake. Here at this point, it would be a very long swim across the lake, and you'd have to follow the road to a bridge that you see off in the distance over the river here, and come back around to the town. The bigger problem that you see, however, is that on the road ahead of you, as you ford the small river here and move a little bit closer to the town, you can see where wrecked wagons lie on either side of the road. Figures moving around in the dimming light. There are logs that have been cut and shaped into points, and a small wall has been built on either side of the path to keep people from going around. There is what looks like a small blockade manned by orcs here at the road. You can hear in the distance, from what is left of the town, you can see the flicker of large bonfires. You can hear drums and loud chanting in the distance. This is not a recently sacked town. The fires are not from buildings burning. They are massive bonfires that have been built.
Oh.
Now we know what happened to Lenine's stuff.
Do any of the wagons that we can see look like they're like adorned with like the lion shield cost or anything?
You could make a perception check. You guys are far enough away where, as you come up on this site, you can sneak off into the tall grass off of the road and up into the hills, and lie low. But to go any further would risk being spotted, would risk a fight. Only because that roll is so damn high, you think you see in the fading light a blue lion on the side of one of the crates.
We found the crates.
Well, solved what happened. We should go back and tell her and then go find something else to do.
She needs some new crates.
Rogar, I imagine the sight of orcish destruction stirs some deep memories within you.
Yeah, I imagine Rogar's eyes are getting pretty slitted.
That's racist.
So, it's we're at the 3 hour and 41 minute mark. What do you guys want to do to wrap this up in the next few minutes or so? Or do you want to start a fight? I'm good for either. You could find make some checks and find a safe place to bed down for the night and start fresh in the morning, scout around, or maybe do some scouting at night. Or you could go headlong into this. I'm good either way.
Orcs have night vision?
You know what? You could make a nature check while I look it up. I'm pretty sure they do.
This like town is full of orcs.
From what you can see at this distance, it's maybe a half mile across the narrow part of the lake here. Yeah, you can see. You definitely don't see a town being sacked. You see a town occupied.
Yeah, gotcha.
Some of the buildings are burnt out. There are giant bonfires and banners, and you see figures moving about. Not fighting, obviously not at war. This is an occupied village. Noro, you're not sure.
I'll be honest, Poker, this is a lot to handle in like 15 minutes. So
it is. No, the intent was just to
yeah.
give you a picture of what this area is undergoing.
Do you want to chastise me, Daddy Deebs?
Chastise you.
Well, so do we want to say that, given this daunting situation, the party adjourns into the hills to find a safe spot to bed down for the night?
I think that's probably what we're gonna.
Yeah, we're gonna have to, because I think we're gonna need to scout. We're gonna need to. I mean, there's a lot that's gonna have to happen here.
Can't just use this.
So
You
if
guys are-
Psalm's not coming back, how's it gonna work?
What do you mean?
It's
Like,
gonna be out in the middle of the fight.
Well, you're not in the middle of a fight.
Oh,
but I'm talking about like if we start a fight, like
Well, if you start a fight now, we're going to finish the fight. But if you don't start the fight, which I'm leaning towards,
Start a fight now. It's gonna go on for hours.
right,
And
right.
there's no clean break for Solm to leave at unless he's literally just gonna bounce mid combat.
it's
Right,
getting
that's what
dark.
I was-
You guys have traveled a very long distance today, and would be tired. While you're not,
We
you
want
know,
this ship.
you've
Do that bubble hearth.
yeah, you've got a lot of miles under your belts, and you're probably getting close to risking exhaustion. Much as Deebs likes to charge headlong into things, you probably don't want to. In this case, not really knowing, what all is past this first sort of roadblock they've built. And so off to your right, the hills roll back, 7 to 10 miles up into the rising mountains. There's a lot of places where you could get lost in there and nobody'd find you, and you could bed down for the night fairly safely. Find a little cave, a little hollow, a little thicket of trees to hide in. It's quite wild looking up that way.
Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to do, unless anyone objects.
If you rest, don't you get your shift back too? Your shape shift?
Yeah, long rest puts everything back.
Yeah, let's do that. We're gonna
I'm back on a short rest.
We're gonna need.
Do the druids want to do a survival check?
Sure.
Look for a safe place for the night.
Yeah, that, or Rogar. This is getting into land you're familiar with. You'd be a little further east than here, where Scales Reach was. Maybe just a little bit off the map and up in the mountains. But this is sort of getting into your old backyard. You might know the area a little better than the others here. What I mean is you might have advantage on a survival check.
Yeah, I can help then.
I'm thinking along the lines of shape shifting into something to scout.
Natural 20.
Oh, damn.
Better than that 3.
As you forge south into the hills, the druids do an excellent job of finding good vegetation to give you cover to hide your location. Rogar, you pick up on some familiar terrain. You see a small hill that rises in the distance that you seem to remember had a little cave in it that your people would frequent from time to time while traveling on the road. A little safe spot tucked out of the way that faces the mountains and not the valley, so as to hide any firelight. And you take the lead and lead the party up not a very high hill, maybe 50 feet up. And there in the side where you remember is hidden by some vegetation, a small cave. Not much bigger than a bear cave, just barely big enough to fit all of you. You're pretty confident if you wanted, you could start a little fire just in the mouth of the cave, and it would not be seen from the town or from the valley. And we'll put it, right about there.
Where's
In
there?
fact, I'm pinging the map.
See anything?
I don't see a ping.
I don't see it.
Son of a bitch. Can you see? Let's do,
Yep.
Oh,
I just saw that. Oh.
That was me.
Oh.
how about here? Can
There we
you
go.
see that now?
Yep.
I was
Yes.
pinging the wrong layer. Let's go with yeah, why don't I just do this? I'll just drag a Rogar onto there and make him tiny. We'll put him right there. No draw. No draw.
Perfect.
I should come up with a party marker.
The hex is 5 miles, right, on this map?
The hexes are 5 miles, yeah.
Okay.
So at this point, you're an hour and a half up into the hills, and up on the backside of a rather shallow hill, and there you make camp for the night. Far enough away where you don't the sound of the war drums has faded off into the distance, and you just hear the sound of the wind in the trees and grass here. As you get ready to bed down for the night, is there any conversation you wish to have? Somia, you get the feel that the party is heading into a new chapter here. And you know from your time with the drow that I imagine you're starting to feel like you'd like to get back to them.
Yeah, I guess I was waiting for Deeves to yell at me.
Yeah, sorry.
but,
So, Samia, we need to talk about this guy, Nesnar. We need to talk about Nesnar.
yes, Daddy Deeves.
I understand your need of understanding of your kind. I lost my train of thought completely right there. I'll tell you, I don't trust them, and I most definitely don't trust his cohorts. So I ask you if you are going to go with him, to just stay alert, be careful.
Aw.
I
love Daddy Deeves.
But I don't trust him. I don't trust him one bit. But I understand why you feel you would join them.
Well, Nesnar did promise that he would make sure that his that people in the Black Spider would leave you guys alone, and so I do trust that he'll do that. But yes, I will keep my eyes open.
That's all that I ask.
So then, should I just do like Wizard of Oz style? Like, everybody?
Well, you would know that placing a hand on the spider bracelet, and uttering a specific phrase would call him to you.
Okay.
I don't know. I figure this shit out as I go.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lunalia is going to go up and extend her hand to her, and she'll say in Druidic, I hope you find everything that you're looking for.
That's what I was trying to say.
And then she'll blow her a kiss.
Aww. I'll go over to her and then give her a nice and slippery hug.
A moist embrace.
Yeah.
That sounds like an awesome band name.
Slippery embrace. Oh yeah.
Slippery embrace. Yeah.
And then I'll just put a hand on Nora's chest and be like, "Slay him well, slay him well."
Why you gotta
I
make
hope
me
you
cry?
find your soap.
And I hope you find your soap. I'll make sure to send you some Underdark special.
Underdark special. Wow.
Some vegan soap. Watch.
And then yeah, Scribble, I'll just nod because him and I never talked. And then to Rogar, I'll say, I hope that potion serves you well.
I imagine Rogar would be looking up from sharpening his sword. I'm sure it will.
So then I'll just click my heels together and summon Spidey Poppy.
You place your hand on the bracelet and utter the command phrase. You wait holding your breath at first, and eventually you let it out. It's been a while. There is a flash of arcane brilliance a few paces away from you, and as the blue light dissipates, you see Nesnar standing there, one hand outstretched. Are you ready?
I am. Then I'll just wave to my friends and take his hand.
Farewell, Samiya. I hope to see you again soon.
Till next time, friend.
Nesdar looks at the rest of you and just nods. Well, here we go. He places a hand on your shoulder, and the two of them disappear in a similar flash of light. There's just a bit of a swirl of blue sparkles that blow into the wind and are gone. And Scribble, you didn't see it when you were in the cave. Maybe it was the light, maybe it was the lack of light, and then the oddly arcane lights floating above you. But you see it this time. About Nesnar, there is a shifting cloak of shadow that has a very familiar look to it. Thinking back to your time in the cavern with him, there was a feel very similar to what you felt when standing at the Dwarvish cairns. That cloak of cold, that comforting cloak of cold. The rest of you would see around Scribble a very faint shimmer in the darkness about him.
Familiar at all?
Just like a oddly flickering shadow. As you all settle down for the night to rest up after your long day travel and prepare for tomorrow, Deebs,
Oh.
I walk. I do
deep
my
in prayer.
my moonlight walk.
Yeah, deep in prayer, just outside of the cave entrance, not wanting to wander too far. You feel Saloon's energies fill you with spell power, as they always do. But as it is on a new moon, she is farther than ever. And try as you can to grasp that vision again, you feel that you have to wait for her light to shine upon you again to see more of it. And it's unsettling. It's a story only partly told. You know there's more to it. There's a sinking feeling in your stomach of what the rest of the story might be.
Boy.
We'll see you next week. Well,
No.
we'll see most of you next week.
2 weeks.
No.
2? Yes.
We'll see none of you next week. God damn it. Oh no, I'll be in this chair staring at these screens for damn sure. Just not having as much fun as we're having right now. Yeah.
You gotta watch your upgrade.
Daylight savings time. It's time change.
Yeah, I gotta upgrade.